Welcome back to another episode of the Otter Players Podcast, where this week we'll talk about mass Xbox layoff rumors, the success of Death Stranding, Borderlands, discussion about the $80 that never was, and much more. But without further ado, we'll go ahead and get into our intros, and hopefully we'll be joined by Morgan later, as she had prior engagement pop up. So we'll start with Weeb. And Weeb, how you doing, man? And what have you been playing?
Yeah, hello, hello. Guess it's good to be back since we skipped last week. Which also means been playing a shit ton of stuff in the meantime. Um, I tried to play the DLC of Star Wars Outlaws, but as you know, that didn't quite go well because fucking Ubisoft decided to include a new feature with their latest patch, meaning deleting all your save games. So I just thought that fuck that shit. I'm not gonna do this. Then I tried again playing Eden Chronicle, but I wasn't really feeling it. And then I settled on Visions of Mana, which turned out to be actually quite good, despite the demo not really doing it any favors. Because it was one of those in media res demos where they overwhelm you with all the abilities and all the characters, and basically, this game deserves to ease you into it as it does when you play the game proper, and it's absolutely a gorgeous JRPG. With yeah, I mean, sprawling worlds, beautiful art design and character design, and surprisingly dark story because pretty much it starts out with, oh yeah, the mana tree, right? Yeah, it requires sacrifices or it will destroy your village. So you're basically just on an escort mission with your clearly, at least that's what she thinks, love interest, and basically just to sacrifice her to the world three for the sake of the greater good. So that's piqued my interest. But of course, I had to pause it for a certain other game that came out recently. But before that, I did play a couple of other games while I was on holiday. Did do another playthrough of the greatest game of all time, Terranigma. It's still fucking amazing. I love every minute of it, and I'll probably play it on and off again on some downtime when I don't have access to my PlayStation. But yeah, it's absolutely still immaculate, still the goat, still a masterpiece. That has so many layers, and every time you play, you see more things that you didn't discover before, and I absolutely love it. So highly recommend it. I know it's not easy to come by because it never came out in the states, and the rights are sort of in legal limbo. So I don't think anybody will mind if you download the ROM for this one. Um, Other than that, replayed Katana Zero, which I own on the Switch, but was on sale on Steam. So play that again. Uh, I actually forgot there was supposed to be DLC coming, like I don't know, 6 years ago or something. But apparently there was a trailer dropped with the Summer Game Fest, one of the shows, that it's coming soon. So here's fingers crossed because it did leave ended with a major cliffhanger, but absolutely amazing game. Shame Morgan isn't here because she would absolutely love it, but for some reason I don't know why it never came to PlayStation. Like it's on everything except PlayStation, and sorely missed. Like this is one of the greater indies that never hit PlayStation. Basically, think 2D Hotline Miami, which is also, I guess also 2D but side scrolling. Um, Absolutely incredibly fun and crazy, and has enough options of choosing how you want to play. Like you can basically skip every conversation by saying just get on with it. and it will literally affect the gameplay or the story, which is incredibly fun. So that if you're one of those guys who skips dialogues, you will pay a price for that. That's fun. Other than that, played a bit of Hades 2, which also was on sale because, of course, Steam sales are going on. Which again, I never finished Hades 1, which I probably should. To though it's not necessarily required, but would give a bit more context. But still, like Hades is sort of the master class in how you do these rogue light games well, where it's not just okay doing everything again, but randomly generated every time you die. But there's actually like you're looking forward going back to the hub area and just talking to everybody, seeing what changed. Listen to the dialogues because they're always so well written, so well acted. So again, the team behind it has done a terrific job, and yeah, we'll try to finish this one this time around. Um, and I picked up a few shooters. I think it's Sulaco, the sort of the boomer shooter with sort of pixel-like art. There was another one, something like I don't know, something with Father Savers or something. It's sort of a shooter with where the enemy designs are like literally like art, hand drawn art. They're like 2D in a 3D world, but it's pretty fun. Um, and of course, the big one that dropped recently is Death Stranding 2, which I'm now fully immersed in. I think I'm not sure if we're going to talk about it more in depth, but basically, it's everything that we loved, but the first Death Stranding, but then better. Um, Absolutely amazing. Like from the prologue, just blew me away. It looks absolutely fantastic. I can totally understand why people are gushing over it for it looking like being the best looking game this generation so far. I it probably is based on what I've seen already. Um, and just everything seems to be more streamlined, but still keeping the core gameplay intact. Which is also why I don't want to hear anybody who hated the first game now suddenly gushing over it, because I'm not buying it. Like if you didn't like the first game, fine, each your own. But if fundamentally the second game, at least so far, is the same as the first game, just better. And if you didn't like the first game, there's no fucking way you're gonna like the second game. And if you do, then I have questions. Then you gotta explain it to me why you suddenly telling me this clicks and the first one didn't. Um, but yeah, other than that, like absolutely amazing, and I know this is going to be my yeah go-to game for the time being until we finish it. So yeah, over. Yeah.
Um, it normally
Oh
doesn't, so it's really low, but I could hear it just a little bit when you were talking. Um, it might just be a
oh
matter of,
yeah, no,
yeah, I think it's gone now. Like I don't know.
yeah. It's probably I lowered the volume a bit. I think that usually helps.
Gotcha. No, I just well see I just heard it again. I don't know. It's super low, so it's not really an issue. I was just saying I heard it, so I was just like I don't know if it's like loud or something, or how they hear it in the chat. So um, yeah, there
Oh
we
yeah.
go. What's up, hero? But yeah, Omar, how are you, man? And what have you been playing, sir?
Yeah, I'm fine. We survived World War III. Congratulations, everybody.
Yeah, right.
What have I been playing? So, I prioritized them out up until the training came out. I finished quite few. Over 100, I think, to be fair. I played, but I didn't finish all of them. Some were unplayable. Some were fucking boring. Hurdling, one of the worst demo I've ever played. I thought we might have had that one wrong, but nope. He was on the money. I do recommend, if available, the demo for what you call it, Eric Holmes. Phenomenal demo.
Yeah, I actually
I
meant to
love.
play that, but I mean, I'm pretty much
I
sold on it, so I like also
I
kind of
I was
not sure.
already sold on it, but playing the demo has sold me even more. It's just way more stealthy, which I'm all about. So yeah, I did get almost like a not bow, but like some weapon that you can use to distract the guard. But other than that, it's filled with shit ton of collectibles. So good luck with that. But I did enjoy collecting most of them. Um, other than that, I this one is gonna irritate the fuck out of Wave. I started playing Chainsaw Lollipop or Lollipop Chainsaw. Um, not gonna lie, it didn't age well. It absolutely didn't. Not at least the music I'm cool with. The character, not character design. The character herself. She is witty. She is funny. She is like Dante or Bayonetta. Like uh, she kind of needs to for the job that she does. But however, when it comes to the gameplay, it's terrible. At least in this day and age, it's absolutely terrible. It didn't age well. A camera, one of the worst camera. Hitboxes can be sometimes abysmal. But I like the concept, and fully understanding that I'm playing an older game. But like when you remaster something, at least make it not to say brand new, but like update it to the recent uh, gameplay loop. What's now available? I don't know. It just it felt lackluster when it comes to the remake remaster itself. But I do enjoy the story. Like the story is it's basic, but it's fun. I love the concept. I really do. It's just the gameplay is so fucking clunky. Where I'm like, I have given up on getting an S in every map. I'm just gonna beat it and keep it moving. And then when Death Stranding dropped, and I'm like, okay, Death Stranding 2, let's start. And yeah, we've said it. It's more Death Stranding way better than the previous one. And it's phenomenal. The music is subtle with this one. Maybe because I'm so used to the fast music, that one doesn't hit as hard. However, I love how they streamlined on of stuff. They listened to feedback. And thank you, Kojima, for fixing the freaking way line. Now you can remove it and create another one. Thank you. It's no longer clustering a, a cluster something on my map. It's clean. I like that. Um, I so far I'm on chapter 3, I think, episode 3, and yeah, I love it. It's Death Training, but better. Um, I don't know what different when it comes to gameplay mechanic outside from what I've seen, which I don't want to spoil before we get to there. Um, but yeah, no. Uh, if there is one thing about Death Stranding, it's the gameplay loop. is addictive as hell, and this is no different. And I love that you get rewarded if you stick by the area and deliver packages. And to get their best stuff, you don't even need to hit to get 5 stars. You just need to get 4 stars, I think, or 3 stars,
I mean,
and you get
there is a
the
five
best.
star reward though, so not to mislead people.
Not every area. Most areas give bullshit reward from what I played so
I
far.
mean
I
that's
cleaned a
not what
few.
I'm saying. I'm just stemming the confusion that they're because you said they're best as if they don't give rewards above three because they do.
No, 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 no. They give reward above 3, but the best one is around 3 or 4.
I
So
mean,
you don't
I
need.
just confirmed one of the exact item I'm looking for in another area is a 5 star reward. So
Oh,
again, I
okay.
would not
Interesting.
say that the best. So
Okay.
yeah, I don't think that's
Okay.
consistent. You might get something that you like at 2 or 3, but the whole point is that it could be generally rewarding at any star rating depending on what you're looking for in your playstyle is what I would say.
Yeah, that's another conversation we're gonna have when we've got there. I will say though, the freaking Buka. I love that dude, but also I love the reward he gives. Some of the best reward in the game, in my opinion. But yeah, no, the training too is phenomenal. Uh, Another thing is, yeah, I've seen people say it's amazing looking, and yeah, it is amazing. But I'm like, of course, it's a Decima engine. We've seen it with Horizon. Hey, speak of the devil, that's training too at the video right now. Um, I love how there is a small video for people to follow if they never played the first one, which is a crime to be honest. I'm not gonna lie, I don't see yourself enjoying two if you didn't enjoy one.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, like
that's been a really common thing that I mean, it's a whole nother discussion, but that's been a really common
they
thing I noticed with people lately, skipping the first game. But like,
you just
again, while some games are designed for you to do that, and it's not really a big deal, um, people are now starting to do it on games where you absolutely
just
100% need to play the first game, and it's getting
just
ridiculous.
training is one of it.
It's definitely one of
Like they think because he added a shooting range, a VR experience where you can train and do stuff, all of the sudden it's gonna be some Call of Duty shit. Like, and the video that they showcased, what's it called, that we seen on Twitter, make it seem like it's all about combat or stuff like that. Like, no, Death Stranding is literally methodical, slow paced where you go from area to area and you plan your route and you suffer through hardship, which was this one is far more hardship. Earthquakes, lightning strikes, and
I mean,
um,
ultimately, the issue is that it's never one thing.
tsunami.
It's never one thing, and it highly depends on your play style. But
Yeah,
people keep wanting to try and draw something from it based on what they see other people enjoy who are immersed in the game, and that is the main issue you're running into. Like I said, one of my mutuals who had a higher tweet where she was, I mean, she she was essentially talking shit. Despite what she says, you know, it's one of those, you know, no offense, but you know, and then immediately offends. You know, in her case, she said no shade. Um, she was
I know
talking
what you're
she
talking
was
about.
yeah, she was talking about how people showcase it, and in this particular instance the person was, you know, showcasing the opening scene. That scene is incredible, but you're never going to get that if you don't play the game. You can't even, like, that scene didn't even feel the same to me. Like when, like, I played that scene and it was incredible. Me and Morgan were playing that scene at the same time, and then I watched Priscilla go through the scene. I cranked up the surround sound on her TV and everything, and it was blaring. It was going crazy, it comes into that moment where you see the area and it comes into this incredible view, and then you realize you're playing the game, like from that cutscene into directly playing the game, and it is just the music hits. It is just shocking and awe-inspiring and all this stuff, and I'm like, no, I don't expect you to get that from some highly compressed video where I'm trying to express what I'm feeling. And it's like, you're never gonna get that. Like, you just can't. And like I told her, because this person, like I said, I can have this person is intelligent enough for me to have a conversation with them. So I did engage with the conversation and explain to her, like, think about, like, I was like, games are meant to be played ultimately, right? You'll never get any of that. As excited as we get from trailers and all these other things that we see, it never is a replacement for playing the game. And I was like, she should understand that more than anything, because like I told her, I was like, you tried to convey how you felt about Expedition 33 to your friend. She posted some stuff. Her friend's not really a gamer like that and stuff, and she was explaining it to her. So she bought her a copy, and her friend was playing it. Then you can see the difference when her friend begins to play the game and gets through each of the chapters, and she's freaking out, and she's developing her own relationship with this game and freaking out and having all these interactions and things and hardships that she's going through with different bosses and all this stuff. And I'm like, so you should understand more than anyone the difference in explaining to someone how a game is and how amazing a game is versus that person playing it firsthand and really understanding what it's like, because it is not a passive medium. Like, the gaming as an entertainment form is not like books or TV shows and movies. You don't passively consume it. So watching a trailer or something will never give you the feeling of playing the game. You can't replace that. So yeah, she was being like, she was being weird about it. So I was like, yeah, let me have this conversation on a different level, rather than, I mean, and like I said, like, some people reacted harshly, but understandably, right? Because she was essentially talking shit. Um, but trying to say, like, oh, there's a better way to showcase the game, and I'm like, no, there really isn't, because even the
Death
stuff, like,
Stranding?
well, no, but I told her, because she was like, people keep showing these clips where they're just walking and going through these areas, and I'm like, but there's clips of people drop kicking people and jumping off of mountains and doing all kinds of stuff. But that is not indicative of particularly your gameplay when you play Death Stranding. So no, that is not a better way to show the game. That is just a way to show the game. But trying to say that one is better than the other is not really the case, because your experience in the game is going to differ based on your play style and how you play. Like, all of us will probably play slightly different. Um, and that's what I'm saying.
Exactly. Like also Death Stranding 2 is Death Stranding, the IP in general is one of the worst when it comes to watching someone play it versus actually playing it.
Exactly.
Like like you're gonna watch people struggle, you're not gonna understand the struggle until you experience it yourself. You are not the one that lost so much cargo and need to either restart or accept a lower grade. You're just watching it and you're thinking, oh well, that happened. But me, the person that actually is doing it, feeling every single second of it, also feeling the weight on my shoulder, feeling how every time I run, I need to balance myself via my camera alone. Yeah, I can go on and
Yeah,
on about the gameplay,
there's a
but
lot going on that people will never get.
there is a lot.
Yeah.
There is a lot. And like, I'm not gonna lie, it started a little bit slow, but it kicked up real quick afterwards. Way quicker than the first one, if I'm being honest. Um, but yeah, no, the gameplay loop is what makes Death Stranding. And you're not if you're making your game if you're making a video where you pretend that Death Training is something that it's not, that would be way worse to showcase than showcasing it for what it is, because then people gonna feel hurt that they paid so much for not getting what it is. Because death training is not the drop kicking people. Death training is again going from point A to point B. Slow, methodical, and suffering.
I
That's
mean,
what it is. And I love.
you don't even have to go slow. That's what I'm saying. It's never one thing. It's whatever you make it when you're
Okay,
playing
but
the
at some
game.
point, okay, yeah, I get you. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm
You
saying.
don't
It's
have to
not
be slow.
just
Okay.
slow, it's not just fast, it's not just anything. It's several things.
It's your play style at the end of the
Yes.
day. Yeah, I get you. Yeah, I wish it was this one way more than the first one, but yeah, no. I am happy that Kojima have fixed a lot of issues with the game when it comes to the previous one. And most of the time, it's just stuff that you're like, respect my time. Menus that are streamlined now. If you need to, what you call it, recycle something, you can recycle multiple things at the same time and even skip the recycling thing. I will say though, he kept the freaking beer or tea, wherever it is. Yeah, give me a boost, but every time I need to skip 2 seconds of cutscene, which is frustrating, but I'm like, hey, Kojima, stay Kojima, saving you. But I am still upset at this one. It's the like button. Like, I'm in the middle of the combat. I can't give you a like, but I want to give you a like so much because I relied on your help to get to where I am. And if you missed giving a like, you're screwed. You can't give a like
I
any
mean, it
longer.
is what it is.
But hey, uh, oh, and one more thing for the people that are playing or about to play, don't ever make the same mistake I ever did. I did, which I kind of did by accident. If you see a rodent on the road, don't try to hit it. You're gonna lose cool point, and people are gonna be upset at you and take 100 cool point from you. But yeah, no, Death Training too. I am only 3 chapters in and I can already see this one being GOTY. I mean, GOTY contender. And the last thing that I play is I'm playing it right now. It's Breath of Fire. Basically, there was a period where I couldn't play Death Stranding, and I'm like, okay, let me try Breath of Fire.
That is
Shout out
so
to Chris Righteous. He always
incredibly, unbelievably random. That is like by far the most random thing you could be playing right now. Breath of
because I
Fire.
couldn't play Death Stranding. I couldn't
I
play
mean,
anything
I
on my
get when
play.
you started it. I'm just saying you went back to a PS1 title.
I mean, all I have is a Game Boy Advance emulator. I don't have access to my. I couldn't. I didn't have access to my PC again. I didn't risk anything because of
So
the
you're playing which Breath of Fire?
one. I never played
Oh, okay.
anyone any, so I'm going all over again
Gotcha.
and see what the fuss is about. And so far, it's lukewarm at best. I hope it grabbed me, but hey, we will see.
Yeah, I mean, Breath of
I'm
Fire
not gonna.
1 is really old. I mean, most people's favorites are 3 or 4, so.
Oh, okay. We will see. But very quick, shout out to that. You know what I'm talking about? That old school Final Fantasy game, the demo that I played,
No, I don't
the
remember.
one that I said the name and you said, "Oh, you have it on your list and you're excited about it." Basically, it's old school Final Fantasy. Think Final Fantasy 6, think Final Fantasy 5. Uh, but with a new jacket and also a harsh story, way harsher story.
Yeah, I mean, you'll
And
have to double check and remember the name because there's too
I will
many.
look at. I have it written. I have it written. I will give it to you after the show. But I recommend it mostly because it's bringing that Final Fantasy back, and we need that because God knows Final Fantasy have not been good so far. Which is, I wish you didn't include the topic of that one, what you call it, investor that want Final Fantasy to be like turn based again.
I mean, that was just a comment in their investors meeting, but yeah.
But still, hopefully they're gonna listen to that. Apparently, 33 is waking a lot of people up. We'll leave it at that.
Yeah. As for myself, obviously, I got the Switch too, so I've been playing Bravely Default HD Remaster. I'm almost done with it. I played it before on the uh, the original release on 3DS. They did a good job. I'm enjoying it. I'm having a ball with it, helping out a lot of people who are playing for the first time, be able to defeat some of the bosses and stuff. Given I know how to get through a lot of the stuff pretty early on. I'm already level 80, 85, so I'm almost max level 99, and just finalizing some of the jobs in the game. But yeah, it's interesting to see a lot of people get a chance to have a shot at this game that didn't before, um, which is a really good example of why remasters for a lot of these games are really important that never really got the traction they deserved, or they were limited, or people never had a shot at them versus the Switch. So a lot of people are going to be able to get a chance to try it, especially considering the Switch 2 release window doesn't really have a lot of games, so a lot of people are picking up whatever is out there. So a lot of people are playing it and enjoying it for the first time. So again, that's one I've always really been a big fan of. Hopefully, they also um, bring it to PC, since they brought Bravely Default 2 to PC, so you get even more people to play it. Because again, just a phenomenal franchise that Square makes again. That is not Final Fantasy, um, despite people making the tie-in with crystals and all that stuff. But I was like, I don't know why people think Final Fantasy has a monopoly on crystals, but I was like, that's a whole nother thing. Um, then obviously, uh, Death Stranding being the other main thing that has finally dropped. I mean, you guys said a lot about it. I was gonna call Morgan next, but I guess she had to drop again, so she'll possibly be in and out. Uh, but yeah, I mean, you guys pretty much said it. I mean, it's Death Stranding, but better in literally every way. I don't really know any other way to explain it. I feel like if you play Death Stranding, you know what I mean. You know what it takes. You know what the game does really well. Everything just feels more improved, more refined. The game, playing it on PS5 Pro, um, but I mean, the gameplay is completely smooth. I've had no frame drops. I mean, it's just beautiful start to finish. I love all the systems and stuff they put in play. The depth to it is something that I'm always a big fan of. In any of my games, I always talk about that. Honestly can't really play games that are almost overly simplistic nowadays. I always need some sort of extra depth, and they do that really well. What is referred to as typically emergent gameplay mechanics, I'm a big fan of, where as you're progressing through a video game, it's starting to introduce new systems and new things to either advance your gameplay or enhance your gameplay. And they do that really well in Death Stranding too.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm having a ball with that. I'm just now getting to some of the more advanced features. Um, I know there's a ton more stuff for me to discover.
What
Like
chapter are you?
I don't even know. I'm just getting into Australia, so not too long before.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're
I've been
on
fairly
my
busy.
end.
So
Yeah, that when things kicked up, eh? And you're
I
like,
mean,
damn,
it's been
Kojima.
I mean it's been a hit for me from literally the
Oh
jump.
yeah, no,
So
it's been a hit from the beginning, but that's
Yeah,
when it gets
Omar, shut the fuck up.
yeah,
fuck
when you
you.
said it started slow, like it wasn't slow for me. Like it's been everything for me from the beginning. So
Yeah, no,
that wasn't slow for me. But yes, there's other stuff
I,
that picks up in action and stuff like that gets
Yes, that's
introduced.
what I meant. But but another thing, shout out to them, and I didn't mention it. I forgot it. It's a load time, dude.
I mean,
The
I'm not even shocked by that anymore. But
I
like,
I am impressed, but it does load slower if you're doing it in game. But if you're just turning your PlayStation on and you load for the first time, it's like instant.
yeah, I mean, it literally is instant. I mean, that's why I don't even talk about it anymore because PlayStation is just always doing that when it comes to their games. I mean, Ghost of Tsushima famously loaded like it pretty much like an SSD back when it was on PS4, and then
And they even
it
they
improved
had
and became instant on the PS5. So it's just
yeah, but
yeah,
they said it themselves. They literally had to slow to give us a load time because they could have made it quicker. They said it themselves.
yeah,
So
but
that trading I meant Ghost of Tsushima 2 load time gonna be beyond instant. It's over.
yeah, I mean, there is nothing beyond instant, but yeah, that's the whole joke. I mean, there's nothing faster than instant. So,
Yeah, that's a joke. But yeah.
but yeah, it is what it is. Like I said, the game's incredible. I'm looking forward to diving in and playing more. Maybe we'll get Morgan's impressions if she can jump back in on the podcast because she is thoroughly enjoying it. She's the furthest out of everybody right now. Um, so she's having a ball. Um, but yeah, I'll let her say it if she can manage to jump back in. But yeah, we'll talk about the Final Fantasy thing here for a second, just because I already know the story and what happened. So an interesting thing because this is something which we'll be having a spoiler cast for next week, Expedition 33. So we won't have a normal show next week. We'll be talking about the Expedition 33. And having our show. If you guys know before, well, you guys know me and Morgan were also on another show with Logic in um, discussing Expedition 33. But you know, the game has had a really, honestly, profound effect on a lot of things in the industry. A lot of discussion, a lot of things are being kicked up and thought about after seeing the reception.
Oh,
Um,
there she is.
Yep.
I talked her right on up. I don't know if she could talk immediately, but if you can, I can stop talking about this for a second and get your impressions on Death Stranding, Morgan, because I know everybody wants to hear what you think, ma'am.
Oh, yeah, it's as you know, a game I've been anticipating for well since it, obviously got announced. It obviously it has exceeded my expectations, but it's no surprise. This is Kojima the God, so it's like I don't know. It's honestly perfection because it's to the point where I'm thinking about the game. And I love that as a gamer when you're thinking about the game when you're away from it. Like I
Absolutely.
was at work all day Friday and I was just like, oh my God, like I just want to leave.
Like, what am I
I
doing
just like
here?
I was thinking, I was like prepping in my head the different orders that I needed to take care of. I was like, okay, so when I get home, I gotta go here, and then I gotta go back to the other prepper and help him out with that task. Then I gotta go back, build that bridge over there, and then I gotta do this. Like I was just like thinking about everything but work. I was like, no, no, I got a better job. I gotta go deliver some packages. But yeah, it's just like if you loved Death Stranding 1, it is definitely the game for you. It is a streamlined version of the first game in the best way. I'm addicted to I love the addition of uh the auto range.
Yeah,
Um
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because you used to have to. The only way you could auto arrange your packages was back when you were in like the facilities. You're delivering your package and you're on the screen and you're there and you auto arrange from that particular menu when you get to the location that you're at. You couldn't auto arrange out, you know, on the field. But now you can't. I love that because like the the OCD in me. I just hate it when my boxes are stacked like unorganized. Like, I got the big stuff on top and my little stuff is like at the bottom, and it pisses me off because I'm not balanced well. And obviously, if you know Death Stranding gameplay, you need to be balanced well in order to be more efficient when you're out on the road, right? Like, you don't want to be tipping over every 5 seconds and damaging packages or packages falling off. So yeah, the mere fact that they added the auto arrange on there, fantastic. I love the use of the D-pad in this game. The fact that everything I need to do, whether it's like switching out my weapons or using Dollman or like I said, auto arranging cargo or even just cargo management in general,
What
everything.
wasn't that in the first game already? Other range?
Auto arrange was, but I
Don't
don't think it was
recall
out
it
in the
like that.
field.
No, I don't recall
Yeah,
it like that.
it
I,
was.
I I think so because I always used that to make sure that my cargo wasn't sticking all over the place.
See, I
Not
don't
in the
remember. I don't.
open field.
Yeah, I don't think it was out. I could be wrong. I could
I
be
mean, it
completely
might have
wrong,
been
but I don't
set.
remember
I
it
think the
being.
the discrepancy might be that they might have added it in the field in the director's cut as well. So remember they
Okay,
added a bunch of stuff.
gotcha.
Ah,
Oh,
So
right,
that might be
right.
the
Okay,
difference. We're all running
that might be
into, yeah.
it. Yeah, but yeah, I love that the D-pad is awesome in this game. Everything's on there that I need. You don't. I think one of the biggest complaints people went through was just like the cumbersome menus that you had to go through to kind of get to what you wanted, and I think they effectively kind of alleviated that issue with this game. Um, and then obviously the addition of the music player is fantastic because I love the
I have
music
yet
in
to
this
get
game.
that. So yeah.
Yeah, I love the music in this game, but you can only really hear it when you're on your victory lap of delivering some main mission package or whatever. But now you can you can edit your playlist, you can pick the songs you want, you can go through it. The only time it turns off is if enemies are around, so then
Which
the
is
music will stop.
understandable because you definitely need to
Yeah,
hear.
because you don't want to be listening to uplifting music as you're trying to listen to for bts, like I'm trying to hear
Yeah,
where they're
no,
at.
that I understand. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, love that. And just the plethora, I don't like again, I'm not gonna spoil anything because I know we've just starting and everything, but just like the plethora of different weapons that you have in this game is awesome. And the fact that there's so many different weapons to suit different play styles. Like if you want to go in quiet, if you wanna be stealthy, but you want to do it from a distance, you don't even want to bother to go into enemy camps, or if you just want to go in loud and you know just go balls to the wall, like there's like a weapon for you or multiple weapons for you, and I love that. And I do love the addition of the a pass system, where you can add different kind of perks to suit the type of porter that you are, right? So if you, like I said, if you're more stealthy Sam, you can add perks that are beneficial to a stealthier playthrough. Or if you're more loud, you can add perks that benefit that, or even perks that help with your as far as like telling the weather and being able to know when earthquakes are you know to happen and stuff like that. Just like different types of things that are beneficial, and stuff to help you as an actual porter, right? Things like alleviating your weight, or um you know uh, being able to take on additional cargo. Just the amount of different perks that you can add to your Sam is a very nice addition to this game. um and the fact that materials are just like everywhere, I guess that was like a big um negative in the first game for some people, is the materials, while they were obviously out in the world, they were a little cumbersome to obtain. So I guess Kojima answered that by making materials every damn where. Like you can find materials obviously out on the ground. You can get them from the people that you deliver to. Like the more you deliver to somebody, the more materials that they'll allow you to have access to. So if you deliver to a certain person or certain people, multiple times, they'll give you even more access to even more materials. And then obviously you can find materials at enemy camps. So it's like there's materials everywhere. Like I was building roads like just as I was going because I just had so much material on me. I was just like, fuck it, I'm gonna build this road. Like I just kept going and going and going until I had to stop. And then I was building bridges. I was building like generators everywhere. Like, yeah, I don't know if you'll see Chill Bandit out on there. Just know I was going crazy because I just had so many freaking materials. I was just building
I mean,
crap everywhere.
honestly,
But
that's a good thing because that was
yeah,
really a struggle before. Was
yeah,
like I really couldn't get to bring the materials until I had the huge truck.
hmm
And then even then, it was multiple trips constantly trying to get them, and then or I'd have to transport stuff to a
everywhere.
different facility, drop it in that
Mhm.
facility, go back and get the materials from
And
the
get
other.
some more. And
Yeah, because the
yeah,
facilities themselves weren't really making their own materials, and
yeah,
now it seems like they have an abundance of it,
yeah.
especially as they give you access to more of their material. So yeah,
Exactly.
I
Like you get
that's
I
up
good.
do
to like
think
level 3 or 4. Like
Hmm.
I got like 1,000 metal with each of them, like 1,000 chemicals. Like it's just I have so many materials with all these different
okay,
facilities.
but that after you unlock the mines, right? The mines is the key, I think.
She's talking about before that.
Uh no, I mean I had it before I went to Australia, so
Oh, ooh, wow, interesting.
Yeah, I don't.
Okay,
Yeah, that's why she was saying she wasn't sure you were paying attention to the amount of materials that they have on hand is completely different than the first game.
yeah.
Like they would have little to nothing other than what you delivered to them in the first game, and now they have an abundance of their
Now
own
you
stuff.
can just go down to the fabricate menu and claim materials at these stations, and they have so many
yeah, I
materials
saw
that you
that one.
can
I The thing is, I played the training one when it came out, so most of the gameplay mechanic back then I forgot how it is compared to now. But yeah, no, I get you, and at that point, yeah, no.
yeah, it's just there's so many materials. So I'm just building crap every damn where. Like came back the other day after I built a bridge and it had like 1,000 likes on it. I was like, oh, okay, so people people were using it good. Cause I was like, why is there no bridge here? This is like a rapid water right here. So why I was confused as to why nobody had built a bridge yet. So I just built one. And I'm just like, and then when you finally turn the chiral network work on, like you can just see so many different just things that people have built because my guess is because again everybody has access to so many materials. Like when I was
Honestly,
building the
I
road,
love
I
it.
remember I stopped for a minute to do this little side delivery mission for a random person. And I came back and I was like, okay, let me finish this road. And by the time I came back, people had finished it already. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah,
Like just
I
because
notice way more stuff being built now. Like the moment I
so
turn on
much
the
more
chiral
now,
network, stuff's everywhere.
bro.
And I hated that
Exactly.
before because I was the one doing it in Death Stranding 1 all the time. But no one ever wanted to do it, which was understandable because it
Yeah,
was cumbersome.
yeah,
But now, like you
exactly.
said, people are building it all over the place. And if people are doing like
I
I
was
see
like,
stuff all the
damn, y'all
time.
I
finished it?
Yeah, and then
so
like you'll get the green notifications where it's like so and so has delivered extra
Oh
material, so
yeah,
and so has done,
yeah.
and I'm like, dang
I
man,
keep
people
getting
just
those.
really
Like
going
they
in.
finished the road.
yeah,
I keep getting like this. You said the green pop-ups. Somebody finished the road you started. Somebody fixed the road. Somebody used your facility. Somebody did something. I'm just like, okay, like it's just there's just because of the abundance of materials, people are, and I like that people are more willing to stop what they're doing and build infrastructures. I do like that it's encouraging more people to actually actively participate in that mechanic.
Agreed.
So I'm a fan of that and I do enjoy you know doing that. So
yeah.
it's
Also, it's
great.
helpful, and you get help. I can't imagine playing this game offline. It would
Yeah,
be not per se unplayable, but like very, very tedious. This is meant to be played online. And I love that you don't even interact with anybody, but at the same time, they're helping you so much with what you call it, the buildings. So yeah,
Yeah, it's really clutch. And the crazy thing is, I remember in the first game, like, maybe in preparing for a specific, delivery, you got your ladders, you got your anchors, all that kind of stuff. You might have your container repair spray, all the essentials, right? And sometimes I'll be like, damn, I'm like a ladder short and I need it. So I got to figure out another way to get, to my destination or whatever. But in this game and obviously the sequel, like, I remember I was on the phone with a Nate last night and I was like, damn man, I need a ladder for over here. But then I just like walked like 10 feet and there was like, a ladder that somebody had like dropped, that was still in the box so I could use it. I was like, oh hell yeah. Like I have run into that multiple times
Yeah,
where I'm like,
same.
damn, I need like an anchor here, or damn, I need a ladder. Oh man, I need a PCC because I need to build like a generator. And it would just be right there where like it not obviously right beside me, but I could like walk, like 30 feet,
Yeah,
look
there's
around,
materials
and
all over the place.
there would be one random. I was like, yes, that's what I need. Thank you, whoever left this here. Appreciate that. Let me give you a like because I needed that. So
Absolutely.
I do enjoy the fact that again, people are a lot more willing to, leave materials, help out, have things randomly generated on the ground. Like it's just a lot more helpful this time around. Um, but yeah, I'm absolutely loving it. Met some of the characters. I'm enjoying their stories just like I did in the first game. Kojima likes to pull at the heartstrings with the characters. They all always have some kind of tragic ass story behind them. And it's still very good. So I'm enthralled with the story. Not that I thought I wouldn't be, but I'm happy to report it is just as exciting as people were like, a thing with sequels is like, people think, you can only pull people in one time, if you have that big idea, that big IP that has a twist, you can only get people enthralled on that idea one time, but then like, the magic is gone after that. But the magic's still there. I'm still intrigued and I'm still like, what the fuck is going on? Why is this person doing that? Why are they here? What's their story? Like, I am intrigued with every new chapter. I'm like, bruh, what's gonna happen next? Like, I need to know. So yeah, Death Stranding's got me, by the baby hairs. So I can't wait to to see what happens. Like, I can't wait to finish this game. 2025 has been an exceptional year in gaming, and we're only halfway through the damn year. So yeah, Death Stranding 2,
and we already got
amazing.
2 or 3 Game of the Year contender.
Yeah, it's been an experience. So yeah, that's what I got to say about Death Stranding 2.
How dare you be a Sony pony and enjoy the FedEx Simulator?
Apparently I'm not allowed to enjoy it because it's not first party or whatever. So
That's my fault.
No, it's
I
okay. You're back.
accidentally I disconnected my headset. um, but yeah, no, thank you for your insight there, Morgan. I wanted everybody to get yours because I know you were the furthest, and uh, obviously we're all really big fans of Death Stranding 2. So yeah, it's just been an incredible. So I don't think a lot of people who watch the show have gotten a chance to really start it. I haven't seen too much from everybody, so I'm not sure who is playing it yet. Usually watches the show between like Hero, Arwana, uh, Thrifty,
I
Logic,
know.
and all them. So
I know C Fresh bought it. It was
okay,
about to start it.
years ago.
yeah, I think I saw Logic playing it because we're friends on PSN. I think I saw him playing it, but I could be wrong.
I'm pretty
Oh,
sure
okay,
most people in here are gonna play it. Cause for the most part, we enjoy the same thing.
yeah. But yeah, I'm sure everybody will get around to it. But yeah, like I mean, the game is just incredible, man. It's an incredible game in an incredible year. Uh,
Yeah,
that's the that's the crazy thing. Like we've
Yeah.
just been treated so well. Like I said, and that's with most of us not even getting to play everything. Just because there's been so much. This year has been really front loaded, and it looks like the end is going to be pretty heavy for some people as well. Um, this is probably, honestly, I couldn't think of a better time to release the game, because this is probably the biggest breather window, um, for for the year. And I mean, there's still plenty of releases coming out, right? Like the Switch 2 came out and all this other stuff. But for people who are not getting one, this is probably the biggest breather window for the game. Because I mean, I forgot we were joking during one of the shows. It was like September, October. Like they like the moment GTA moved out of the way, like 100 games got announced for September. Like it was crazy.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's been incredible. Um, and then like I said, so jumping back to our other topic, real quick. So we were talking about, wanted to briefly go over the Final Fantasy comment, or Square Enix. So Square Enix did have a meeting with their investors and so on and so forth, and a lot like the fireside chat and whatnot, where you could see the questions and see the responses from PlayStation. Square had a similar thing. And it seems like several investors, but one in particular mentioned it, by name, and asking Square, if they were aware of the success of Expedition 33 directly, and how they felt about, bringing the Final Fantasy franchise back to turn-based, and, what were their notions about moving forward, and going back to that realm, and basically, how much he would love to see it come back, and that he thinks it's a really, basically a really viable market, and something that a lot of fans want, which is reflected in the success of Expedition 33. Again, for me personally, one of the things I always like to iron out in those discussions about Expedition is that, again, people, while the turn base is a huge part of it, right? Like, they've made an incredible system with the Pictos and all the other things that went on. Always have to reiterate to people that the reason Expedition is so incredible is because and this is something I wrote about a while ago, so people who follow me will have seen this, but I wrote about why RPGs are the most incredible genre, but also basically one of the hardest to develop for, because they have the most metrics that you need to hit out of any genre. Meaning the amount of things that you do in these games need to be on point. And that, to me, was a really big shortcoming, where I've definitely felt that Square Enix has done well in other games, some of their other games, but not specifically Final Fantasy. So again, Final Fantasy 16, this is why I don't like a lot of Final Fantasy 16 fans, to be honest, because they tried to diminish Final Fantasy down to the stupid combat system, and that is not the only thing people are talking about that was missing or that was off with the game. There are a ton of RPG elements and things that were missing from that game. There was a lot of weak storytelling and writing. Again, a lot of people who are not, again, this is kind of the other issue with people who are not into other forms of mediums as well. So the running joke where I was showing them how they basically took the Game of Thrones story almost verbatim. They did speak about how it was an influence for them, but it's damn near verbatim. Which again is whatever, right? If you adapt it correctly and you create an incredible story, cool. Again, this isn't to say that Final Fantasy 16 is a bad game. This was the discussion we had where it was like, Final Fantasy 16 is just not a good RPG, and it is not a good Final Fantasy game, but it is a good game. Like, that is the issue. So again, like I said, this is even reflected in a lot of the people I see that are really, really big fans of it, that have it in like their top 10 games of all time. Like I said, one of the more infamous people in the community that's like a rabid fan of it is like, I mean, that person's like 19 years old. And I'm like, so yeah, I mean, of course I expect it to be one of your highest rated games of all time. You're like 5, when it comes to playing video games. Like, like I hate to tell you, like you got rookie numbers. You know what I mean? So yeah, I expect you to be impressed. Um, but yeah, like I said, like it's not. I just want to reiterate that it's not just one thing, right? It's not just the turn base, but and when people are asking them, are you paying attention to the success of Expedition 33? And like I said, our spoiler cast will be next week, and you guys will understand. If you guys have finished it and you can tune into that, you'll understand when we get really deep into it and really talk about the nuances and things of that nature. And like I said, the strong writing, grounded characters, incredible, you know, elements within the gameplay, the story, just the music. Like I said, there's so many aspects that create an incredible RPG, and they all share that, right? If you look at the DNA of it, and that's why I said it's not really about it being turn based, because again, there's all of the greatest RPGs all share these really great traits when they hit, these 9s and 10 RPGs, right? Incredible stories, incredible characters, incredible world building, amazing soundtrack, and great combat systems.
Yeah, it's literally the magnum opus. It's like it have flaws, absolutely, but it's insane what they were able to deliver.
Yeah, and it's not that Square has never done this before. Like I said, some of their titles still do incredibly well, right? Like it's just for some reason in the Final Fantasy franchise is where they seem to be faltering. Because Octopath Traveler 2 was both me and Morgan's game of the year when it came out, and that was a pretty stacked year. So
I
again,
don't
it's
know
not
what my
that they,
game of the year was, but
yeah,
Octopath 2 was amazing.
yeah, amazing. Like, and that's what we're saying. It's like it's not that they don't have it in them. It's that they keep second guessing themselves. And I've said this with Square, and I always see it in their messaging and how they talk about a game when it's in development. And they're constantly second guessing themselves and looking at successes of like Elden Ring and other action games, and they're like, all right, if we just do they create like this checklist. If we just do these three things, we'll sell 20 million copies. And it's like, no, dude, like you guys used to be the industry leader. You people were looking at y'all to decide what to do next in the RPG space. Like y'all can't be
Yeah,
looking at other people.
Final Fantasy used to be king.
Exactly. Like they were the ones being followed. So yeah, so I definitely get, like I said, the comment from the investor, because, like I said, if you've played it, which most of the audience has played Expedition, or they're about to finish it up, so you guys know how incredible it is, right? From so many aspects. So, yeah, to get that comment at the investor level is incredible, and it just shows how
Yeah,
many people are
it,
paying attention to the
it,
success of that game.
it also shows how even investors now know how Square have alienated their fan base.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's something you're right. I'm glad you said that, because that was another part of the comment, where he did mention where he felt like in order to he basically stated them chasing these new trends or these alternates with the action RPGs. He felt like it was having a detrimental effect on the overall franchise. And again, this is a discussion that many
Fucking
Final
thank
Fantasy
you.
people will get into, where they're like, oh, well, Final Fantasy changes all the time. And I'm like, yeah, but if Final Fantasy 18 showed up and it was a racing game, like, that would be weird. Like, let's not be weird about it. Like, people are just being
Mm-hmm.
obtuse. Like, just because it does change and it does try new things doesn't mean you have to completely alienate or alter the game to a point where it's unrecognizable. And you're like,
Yeah,
oh, I'm gonna throw a chocobo in here so people know that it's a Final Fantasy game. Like, that's weird.
like Final Fantasy X too. I say it's a weird name. I know. I'm not a fan of, but despite that, it still have RPG element. It still have status effect. It still have everything that makes the Final Fantasy. While 16, it's not just that it's action. It's that it have zero status effect. It's the fact that I think I could wrap my head around with this one. I literally use fire on a firebomb.
Yeah, I mean, like that's what I'm saying. Like, stuff like that, that's like been a staple. Like, I don't think people understand that joke. Like they're like stuff like not being able to use fire on a firebomb is like one of the biggest jokes about Final Fantasy 16, because that has literally never ever been possible in the history of the entire franchise. But because they oversimplified 16 to try to dumb it down, which again, you can look at the statements from Yoshi P, where he essentially is like, well, our Western audience are a bunch of idiots that basically want instant gratification. So I'm going to simplify this game as much as possible and make it and focus on the action, and then they'll love it. That's essentially what his comments come down to when you put it together over the course of the development of it, and even when it released. And
One of the
yeah,
worst brain dead comment out there. I
yeah,
remember
it was
sharing
insane.
it with you and being in disbelief, like, how do you shoot yourself in the foot so fucking much?
Yeah, it's wild. Later, Logic, man. Have a good rest of the day, bro. Um, but yeah,
And
as far
also
as the
Viper,
yeah,
he's
Viper's playing
playing
both.
F33 and the Training Jones. Yo, he can't get enough of Peak now.
Yeah, I mean he's having a ball. Um, Morgan, how are you feeling about these comments from the investor for Square Enix? Uh, I mean, are you feeling like the effects, of Expedition are being felt far and wide, and you're liking the effects that are having after appreciating the game. Obviously, you're a big fan of Expedition, and you got the platinum. Is this a direction and something you want not only Square, but the industry as a whole to pay attention to? From your perspective.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always a fan of when games are inspired by other great games. I think that's how the industry innovates, and that's how the industry, grows. I don't think if a game or a studio does something innovative or different, I don't think, like, especially gameplay mechanic wise, I don't believe in locking that to just that specific game or that specific franchise. Looking at UWB with the Nemesis system, but
Right.
I'm glad that they're paying attention, that they're seeing that, hey, the West actually does like turn based. Wow. I thought they just liked boom boom pow pow, but apparently they like turn based. Mm,
Shocker to
but,
nobody else.
exactly. Shocker to Square Enix. But again, I think, again, it's hard for me to speak on things like Square Enix and Final Fantasy, because I am not a Final Fantasy fan, and that's not to say like I don't like Final Fantasy. I've just never really played Final Fantasy. The first mainline one that I played was 16, and I platted that. I enjoyed it, but I can't speak on how it was against other Final Fantasies because I haven't really played them. I played remake Final, 7 remake. Didn't really like it, but it's whatever. I played
But
like a little bit
you
of
did play
Rebirth.
Octopath Traveler 2, so
Yeah,
you
but
know
that's
what
not
they're
Final Fantasy.
capable of.
But
No, but I mean like their
yeah, that
RPGs in
was peak.
general though, what they're capable of
Yeah,
doing.
that was peak to me. That was motherfucking peak. Octopath Traveler 2. Top art JRPG for me. Absolutely love that game. Love the story, love the characters, loved, like, that it's just eight different people that were still stories were entwined. Yeah, the fact that you can make that many characters have so many different character arcs and still all be interesting to me, that is a great and impossible task that they actually accomplished. So, um, yeah, um, absolutely love Octopath. Yeah, I'm glad they're listening to the feedback and not ignoring it, because I know for one thing Square does like to ignore fan feedback. They're just, we'll do our own thing and we'll just kind of give you what we think is good, and then you guys just take that, like.
Yeah,
So I'm glad they're listening. Hopefully, let's just hope it's just not just all just talk, and it's actually going to be, something that they put into fruition. Because again, developers and publishers like to do is just talk.
that's true.
So all we can hope is that it actually leads to something with Final Fantasy 17. So Yeah.
So in regards to what I stated earlier, right? Just per example, right? Regardless of if you played the earlier Final Fantasies, right? When it comes to Octopath Traveler 2, would you stand that it gave you all those metrics I spoke about earlier? Incredible writing, great character development, world building, soundtrack, combat system, and all of those things combined in order to create that incredible experience. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, it's one of my favorite games of the generation. So yeah.
See? Exactly. So again, that's what I tell people. It's not just about Final Fantasy. This is just a metric system that works about things you'll want to hit when you're designing these games, right? You want all these things to be incredible, and like I said, they stand out more than ever. These are obviously important in a lot of games, right? But like most people don't care about character development in Call of Duty. Let's be real. It's not a metric where people were like, "Oh my god, the character development in the next COD sucks. I'm not gonna play it." Said no one ever. Like so, again, a lot of games have a lot of metrics that they have to hit that don't pertain to that thing. They can fall short on that. Like most people I know don't even pay attention to the soundtrack in like a Call of Duty or something. So again, doesn't really matter. But these games, especially need to hit all these metrics. And like I said, it's refreshing that is showing up at the investor level, just because when it comes to major companies listening, they're going to really pay attention to what their investors are saying and seeing and try to adapt that, or give them what they want or see what they're seeing in these games that they might be missing themselves, right? And hopefully Square Enix to find their groove again, as far as the mainline franchise, and really give us something incredible again. We all played Final Fantasy 16. I think all of us actually have the platinum, but I can't remember. But I know I have it, and Morgan has it. Um,
And I have it.
okay, so yeah, I think all of us might have it then. Um,
I don't.
you don't, but again,
Nope.
but you're ultimately, like I say, you're a long time RPG player as well. Um, how are you feeling about this comment as far as it pertains um, to Square and addressing, the Final Fantasy franchise going forward? Um, what do you hope to see out of this?
Oh, they should take notes. Like, come on. Expedition 33 showed them that this is exactly what fans of Final Fantasy want, and it fucking works. That's the lesson they should draw. And of course, they're probably not really gonna draw the right conclusions from this. But I mean, and that's kind of the problem with Square is I think I heard somebody also say like maybe Final Fantasy isn't as big as it used to be, and yeah, maybe that's true. I mean, if
Mm-hmm.
you are at the 16th part of the franchise and you keep sort of reinventing the wheel every single time, we change the gameplay, creating a completely separate setting every time. Yeah, of course, at some point people are going to lose interest because it's going to lose its identity, and you're doing the job for them because you're literally throwing up out the kid with the bad water, right? Like you're not even understanding. Okay, well, what is it that people come back to for Final Fantasy? You're just think, oh no, it has to compete with the AAA Western titles with realistic graphics and streamlined gameplay, and you're making something that's if you try to make something for everyone, you make a game for no one. That's basically the lesson
Agreed.
learned here. And I hope that they draw the right lessons from the success of Expedition 33 and say, okay, yeah, this is basically what we should have done with 16. And let's see if we can try to recapture that magic, and hopefully people will come back to us. And maybe you're gonna get like, and again, maybe I guess Square's biggest problem is they're always chasing the dragon. Always want to do as well as as the biggest titles in the industry, and that's something like you should never really chase that as make that your aim, because if you're trying to make a game, engineer a game to be successful, it all likely will fail because people will see through that. They will just see, yeah, you made something by committee. You're trying to hit all the right check boxes, but in the end, like, why should I play this? Like, this is so manufactured. There is no art into this. There is no pathos into this. This is just corporate schlock. And yeah, you know, uh, do you like why would I want to play this? Like, do you want to play this? That's I think that's a question they should start asking themselves.
I
Like,
agree.
okay, am I making a game for the sake of trying to make all the money in the world, or am I trying to make a game that it is something I want to play, as a, I mean, they as a developer. I think that's sort of the question that any developer should probably ask themselves. Like, I'm making something I would want to play, rather than be overly concerned with, okay, what would fans like? What would make them come in droves? Would make a game get mainstream appeal? It's never going to work. And I think that's the lesson they should learn, and they should just go back to their roots. Um, and hopefully the next Final Fantasy will go back being turn-based. If they want to draw lessons like from 33, where they mix it up with power mechanics, whatever, to make it appear less well, turn-based, I guess. I mean, sure, go for it. But this is sort of the creativity what we were expecting from Square. If you're afraid that turn-based is looking too slow or unappealing to audiences, yeah, then try to mix it up with with these kind of mechanics instead of trying to go all the way to making a very generic action RPG that has very low depth. It's not really um, yeah there's nothing appealing about it in the end. It's just all fluff and all window dressing, and there's no content in it. And that's not, to say, like Morgan said, it's not 16 not a bad game, but it's not,
Hmm.
it doesn't feel like a Final Fantasy game, and it doesn't feel um, special enough to stand on its own, right? It doesn't feel like it's if it didn't have the Final Fantasy title, would this be an interesting game to spend your time on, right? And I did, and in the end, I finished it. I didn't go for the plat because at some point, other things came along, and like, yeah, it's a choice you have to make. Do you want to spend your time on a game that in the end, was okay, passable, but not like blowing you away?
Hmm.
Or, are you going to go for something that is uh, really special? It does feel like, it is worth spending your time on. Yeah. So I hope the Square is taking this as an opportunity to change directions, but yeah, I'm gonna be skeptical on whether or not they're gonna pull it off, and they're not just gonna in the end is that, oh, no, we just have to go even further. I don't know. Next Final Fantasy will be a first person shooter because they're like, oh yeah, we have to be more like Call of Duty. Who knows? I don't know.
Nah, definitely. Omar, final thoughts?
Yeah, validation, eh? When we said it, they didn't care. They said with dinosaurs, with all cool. But all of a sudden, it's coming from who? Investor. Now, the shift have shifted. The gameplay have changed. And what I love about it is it absolutely validates all of our concerns. And when you're, I don't know how, how big he is, the investor, but when your investor re- is stepping in like that, it makes you question just how terrible of a business have you been doing to the point where like investors say, yo, fix your stuff. An indie game exposed you. An indie game where people are like, this is what Final Fantasy is supposed to be. And what now is, if they make a Final Fantasy game a la 33, it would be just, what would I say this? Not pander, but more like, uh, Square Enix is a follower. They're not a leader anymore. They would become way too exposed. They would get exposed with that. In my opinion, don't fixate on what 33 is, but create your own Final Fantasy turn base. Go back to the basic, or rather, look what you did with Octopath, build on it, explore uh, expanding on it, and most importantly, give us good graphics. I'm not asking to be that bloated like Seven Rebirth. Like nobody asking for it, but be creative and don't just follow this 33 to the what you call it, that Mr. Bean meme where he copies everything. Like, now, add your own flair to it. That's what 33 did. It created its own system. I just truly wish Square Enix would comprehend that and find a way to, you know, make people like Yoshi P comprehend that the West love them base. 33 exposed that. It's not just the price. We're gonna talk 33 next week, but it's a whole package about 33. And again, I can't stress it enough. When I saw 33 for the first time, my very first reaction was, "This is what I always wanted the next Final Fantasy to be." This is taking, what you call it, turn-based to the next level. But hey, we will see if it's gonna be all talk or they're gonna make the work. Cause this is no longer someone like a fanboy talking. This is an actual investor.
Agreed.
So I'm curious what's gonna happen. But yeah, no, number one, validation.
Indeed. Yeah, but yeah, like I said, we'll see what happens with that. Hopefully, I mean, obviously, we wish all the best. You know, we're all big Square fans at this point, so hopefully they get it together and deliver some incredible games, and we can talk about them being a 10 out of 10 again. You know, that'll be a good time to have. But yeah, moving into other news, we didn't get a chance, like I said, because we didn't have a show last week, so this one is a shorter one, so I'll do this one first. But you know, Borderlands 4, Randy Pitchford made that idiotic comment about, you know, if you're a real fan, you'll find a way to afford it, and saying that Borderlands 4 was going to be $80, only for the game to come out and be 70. Um, Again, I mean, take it as the W it is, I guess. But I mean, I don't think they decided that overnight either. Um, and you know, like a lot of people said, a lot of these companies are not beyond, you know, manipulating, you know, nonsense. Is I mean, Randy is definitely not the most likable person on the planet. Um, so chances are he said the nonsense just to try and make it seem like, oh, we listen to gamers. You know, is definitely not beyond them to pull this nonsense. So yeah, like I said, I mean, it is going to be 70 for people who are getting the base. Um, but yeah, as a longtime fan of Borderlands, I mean, I'm excited. I'm always picking it up day one. But I will say that some of the higher end editions are looking really questionable. And that's something that Morgan definitely pointed out. where it's like, yeah, it's $70, but there's a bunch of stuff in these other packs. And while I always went for the top edition in prior ones, it was always because it came with, like the entire year one DLC, stuff like that, things that you knew were going to be 100% worth it. They've always had extra cosmetics and stuff like that, which were always great, but it was really about the extra content, and knowing that they always really made great expansions and DLC for their games. So again, I mean, even some of the top content creators for Borderlands agreed the way that they're showcasing these other editions are really confusing. The way the wording is and stuff is really odd how they're even going about it. So a couple of them has been trying to explain it. Like I said, there's been some of them, the discussion on Twitter where Omar had pointed out that Mighty Keith was talking about it and stating that they were blocking content. So now the conversation is whether or not they're blocking content and locking it behind the paywall, or what, like, what's happening.
You
Or
think the wording should be way better? When you have people literally making a skit about it only to be wrong and got called out, it, like that way you got a question like, what? How did we go wrong to the point where we being mocked right now? And I do think that there need to be a better explanation of what each tier gives you. I don't understand uh, why they went with the way they went with. It's like,
yeah,
are
it's
you trying
extremely
to
confusing.
convolute your fan base? I don't understand it, but hey,
Yeah, I mean, if I can't even explain it as a longtime fan, and I feel like I have to go out and go to YouTubers and figure out what exactly I'm supposed to be getting because it's not clear. Like, I, I don't know how they get to that point as a company as massive as they are, that has been
yeah,
doing this franchise as long as they have. It's never not been clear to me what I'm getting in each version, right? It was very easy to understand. It was very straightforward. Um, I had to end up going to Moxie's video just to see, and he even starts the video by saying it's confusing. So, like, he even gets that it's confusing, even though he was correcting what Mighty Keith was talking about on Twitter. So, and Moxie is a really big Borderlands creator. Always go to his videos and stuff for Borderlands and lots of cool content. Um, but yeah, it's not something you want for people, to be when your game is number one, launching. You don't want people to be confused about what they want, what versions they want. I don't know why companies seem to think that's a good thing, or whether or not they're doing it on purpose, but it seems to happen quite a bit from certain companies. Um, but again, the best thing you can be for a lot of gamers is clear in what we're getting for the money, and letting people make an informed decision about what they want and which versions, they want to support for the title. I mean, you're talking about a long-standing franchise like Borderlands, like I said, where a lot of people are invested. Like I said, it's huge right now for me personally. There's not a ton of great co-op games, and it's one that we can play with a ton of us, that we're all pretty big fans of. Morgan hasn't really gotten a chance to dive in, sadly. Uh, she tried out Tiny Tina, which was not a good example of how awesome
no,
Borderlands can really be.
it's it's a terrible one to try. No, no, she gotta go with 4 and give it a go. She might
Yes,
enjoy it.
yeah. So hopefully, like I said, everything else we've heard from previews and stuff, and people who have gotten to play it, have said it's really great and it plays amazing. So it looks like we are going back to the Borderlands formula that we love. So hopefully they get this stuff ironed out, and you know get things clear before launch. Like I said, I've had to look into it myself because obviously I will be playing the game day one. But yeah, so like I said, it's just not a good look to have the confusion on top of the whole $80 conversation and Randy being out here acting crazy. Um, we definitely seen where the CEO or the head of a studio comes out here and put their foot in their mouth, and then screw up all that hard work that their team has been working on and creating these games for years. Like I said, I don't think Borderlands is in any danger of that. But we saw what happened recently with Splitgate too, and all the trouble they're running into off of them trying to be funny.
Yoshi P.
Yeah,
Like they all do it. Like they can't stop themselves.
absolutely. But yeah. Morgan, you feel like how are you feeling about this? Because we did have this conversation where you were like, a lot of people were taking the $70 thing as like a big win. Gamers, we won. And uh, whatnot, and for this, but you were very shrewd in how you were going about it, and like, they probably didn't actually win. They probably planned this the whole time and stuff like this. But how are you feeling about it?
Gamers didn't win shit. It's so funny how little things like this can just make gamers change their opinions on things so quickly. Like it's so funny how, oh man, a game being $70 is such a deal. Like that's how far we've fallen. Where $70 is like, oh man, we did it, gamers.
They made
That's
it
where
they
we're at
made it
right now
normal
because
price. Yay.
70 as the heavenly number for gamers now, and we're applauding and crying and so happy when we get a game to be 70. That is just so sad. But um yeah, gamers didn't do nothing. It was this price was cemented long before this whole situation happened. um but regardless, I mean, honestly, Gearbox's practices kind of irked me a little bit.
Yeah.
Like the mere fact that they have a collector's edition with no game
With no
included is
game?
insane
Oh
to
my
me.
god. Yeah.
Because I was just
But
like, so
hold
you
up,
want me to
is
pay
that true?
150?
Yes, that
Or
is
Yes,
did
this
true.
is fucking true. And you want me to pay $150 for some collectibles, some cheap ass collectibles, and no game? So if I want the deluxe edition, I have to pay another 120 or 150 or whatever it is on top of that to get both. So I'll be
Yeah,
spending
that's
like $300
insane.
to get the collector's edition and the super
hey,
deluxe edition.
I can wrap
They're
my head
out of their
around that.
fucking mind. Like
Yeah,
I
come
was just
on.
like, what the fuck? Like, listen, I'm glad that the feedback about it is coming positive or whatever.
Hmm.
I don't know if I'm gonna get it. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. It's like it's nothing about this game is everything about this game is irking me. I don't know. It's just it looks good. Like, the state of play was nice. The gameplay looked cool. Co-op looks fun. But everything they're doing on top of Rennie is just irking my nerves.
Yeah.
Um so we'll just have to
Did
see
you
what I'm
but
doing in September. I don't know. Again, it's looking like a no for me. So we'll just have to see. I don't know. Um
I mean, they're
not
definitely
like I
not
said, I'm not the
doing
biggest.
themselves any favors. So
They're really not. And then the whole confusion about what comes with what, like, because I remember looking on the 2K website so I could get like a clear, definitive explanation of what each edition holds. And even when looking at the site, it didn't explain jack shit. It was just like, you get this pack with this and this pack with this. I was like, okay, what the fuck is a pack though? What is it?
yeah, they did.
Like,
They didn't
are these
explain that at all.
cosmetics? Are these DLCs? Are these guns? What is the pack? I don't like it. They act like I'm supposed to know what that means. Like, what does that? If I'm paying $120 for a damn game, you better spell everything out for me. It better be clearly defined every aspect of that game that I am purchasing. But if you're just gonna be all subtle and be like, I mean, you get this pack, this pack, that pack, I'm like, what does that mean to me? Like, in this economy and these kind of days, like you're asking a lot from gamers to spend that much on a damn game, and then to not clearly define what exactly they're getting from that game seems kind of sus to me. I'm just like, because why would you want to hide that? Like, I don't get the purpose of having people have to delve into 16 different websites to try to figure out what all these things are. So yeah, Gearbox has done a terrible job. Randy has not helped. Um, Borderlands 4, I'm sure it'll do well because everybody's giving it positive glowing reviews, but I don't know. It feels like it'll be a game that'll be in PS Plus in like by like December or January.
I doubt that. Nah, no
It,
Borderlands.
I mean, Tiny Tina Wonderland was in there pretty quick. So
Again,
I
Tiny
don't.
Tina, Tiny Tina is a different ball game. You,
I mean, sure, okay, but I mean, the game hasn't come out yet, so we don't know what kind of ball it's in yet.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like just like Dragon Age was in PS Plus hella quick too, and everybody thought that was gonna be the next coming of Jesus. So it's just like I don't know. We're gonna see. We're gonna
okay,
see.
if we're gonna see.
Definitely. But yeah, I don't know. They're definitely not doing themselves any favors. Again, after doing all this work, apparently, when you actually listen to them talk about the game and what they've changed and what they've brought back and the improvements they've made to the vehicle system and like it's like so many improvements gameplay wise and all this other stuff just to not do themselves any favors on basic descriptions and information. Like it's like I don't know, like two different teams. Like I don't know what's going on there. That's just like a weird discrepancy to happen. Especially like I said, when you clearly got a lot of great things to show for it, but just to come out with this weird thing, and it would be weird for them to change a very lucrative, successful business model with having the DLC season passes and stuff included in the higher end editions, as that's been a big fan favorite for years. So yeah, I'm not really sure what they're doing with that. So it's just kind of up in the air. Omar, how you feeling about it, man?
I understand Morgan's skepticism when it comes to this. Like, it, it's a terrible thing. The rewarding and everything in between.
Well,
But
she's a good
at the end of,
example. She's a good example of how it looks to people who are not fans because we're already
yeah,
fans.
like
Yeah.
if you're alienating people that not even a fan, if you're alienating your own fan base, you already lost the people that not even your fan, like Morgan. So to me, that's stupid oversight on their end, which I'm pretty sure is deliberate. Come on, it's here, but more importantly, it's 2K. We all know 2K practices. Let's not pretend that we don't. So with that being said, I'm not gonna lie. 70 over 8 instead of 80, especially after Microsoft and Nintendo raising the prices for to 80. Nintendo one game and Xbox most of their games. It does feel like a win. It up like if you wanna say about then that's how low the bar is. Yeah, that's a sad reality. That's how low the bar is. But this is a bar that we were able to do something about it. I'm pretty sure if we didn't pick up, it would have been 80. Let's keep it 100. Companies don't do things because they want to be nice. Remember the PlayStation 10 upgrade? Like, companies always try to take a mile instead of an inch if we let them. So, was the showcase amazing? Absolutely. Did they show me everything that improved about the game? Absolutely. Am I getting it day one? Absolutely. This is the game that I'm gonna play with Innate and most importantly, my own little brother. Day one. So I'm super stoked about that. With that being said, I truly believe this is gonna be a game that's gonna be a level of Borderlands 2, which is to me is one of the best Borderlands so far, and I have the feeling this might be able to surpass it because where 3 lacks in everything else, when it comes to the gunplay, is one of the best. When it comes to innovation, it's one of the best. So the fact that they were able, the fact that I don't need to even be in an what you call it, fast travel area to be able to fast travel, like legendary. All my side quests round up for me to take without any exhaustion to try to find the freaking NPC, especially with one of the worst convoluted hub areas that they always have. Again, they understand us. Uh, like they did a lot of upgrade, and I'm super excited about that. I don't want to make it a Borderlands talk, but all of it, all it's a win. We gotta take what we gotta take at this point in time. What can I say? I'm a sucker for winning.
See, the only reason I don't count that 70 as a win, well, there's many reasons, but the main one is because I mean, the reason they don't have to put it at 80 is because they got these crazy ass deluxe editions. So it's like there's no need to put it at 80 because they know that the Borderlands fans they're not gonna want the base game. They're gonna want the super deluxe crazy edition that they charge in $120 for. So there's
Yeah,
really no need to put an $80 price tag on it.
yeah. I mean,
I
you're not wrong because I've
do.
always purchased the
Let me
max
ask you
edition.
this: if if not for the backlash, don't you think the game would have been 80?
No.
It would have
Again,
absolutely
I
been.
said like my stance is they
I
don't need
get
to
you,
charge 80 because they have these editions that are crazy ass expensive. There's no need to put an $80 price tag on anything. And then on top of that, it's even worse of a deal if you don't get this because the DLCs will be even more expensive, sold separately. They'll be like, oh yeah, you like the Borderlands 4 experience, but you didn't buy the deluxe edition. You bought the base at 70. Well, this extra DLC, you want to play that? Yeah, that's gonna be like 30 or 40 bucks. And then that
yeah.
other DLC that we got, yeah, that's another 30, 40 bucks.
Oh, by the way, I'm pretty sure they're gonna make two DLCs, and each
That's what I'm
DLC is
saying.
gonna have.
That's what I'm saying. So
But
there's no
but let
need
me
for an eighty
okay.
dollars. There's no need.
But let me even tell you, even if you buy the 120, you're not covered for all DLC. You're only covered for the first
That's
uh
my point, Omar.
season pass.
There's so many charges in this game. There's no need to charge $80 because if you want more, you're gonna be paying out the ass anyway.
But everything I just said
Well,
uh
the reality
was in
the
Borderlands 3 as
reality
well.
the
So
reality for
that
your question though, when you asked her, do you think it would have been 80? Is we'll never know, because
okay, but
but
don't
Right.
you
what
think
Never
is
know.
what Morgan said is that they do have these expensive editions that they know people are going to invest in. So regardless of Randy running his mouth, like I said, I already knew which version I was getting, so because I always get it, and they know that, and it's
you're
heavy.
getting the big edition?
See,
I always do. Like
yes,
I'm not
see, that's
missing
Along
my
nothing.
without the
point.
game.
That's my point.
Yeah, I'm not missing
Borderlands,
nothing.
that's what Borderlands fans get.
Yeah.
And they know that.
Yeah,
So there's no need to charge 80.
they get what they deserve.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I got a few franchises like that. I'll tell people that I'm the same way with Assassin's Creed.
They
I know what I like.
yeah, they know damn well Borderlands fans are gonna kick, they're gonna scream, they're gonna be mad, but they're at the end of the day, they gonna hand them the check. At the end of the day, they're gonna get that super duper deluxe edition, and there's no need to charge 80. They can seem like a great guy, the great guy, but for just charge. Look, guys, we're everybody else is charging 80, but hey, we're still 70. But by the way, if you want all the other shit, you gotta pay us 120. Don't pay attention to that. Don't pay attention to that.
Don't pay
Just pay
attention to
attention
that.
to the fact that the base game is $70 and we're just great. We're just a great company. Aren't we so nice?
Nah, you definitely right on that one. Weeb, how you feeling about this one?
I'm a Morgan. Randy planned this. Like there was no way he was actually planning 80 and then just decide, oh no, we're not gonna do this. Like he if he was planning 80, he wouldn't fucking care. He would
Yeah,
have just made it
he would
80.
have just done
He
it.
was
Yeah.
just he was just throwing it out there, just as like, oh no, yeah, we could make it 80, but we're not because we're the nice guys, right? We're just gonna give you like I don't know what is like $300 collector's edition without the game. Yeah. Yeah. Fuck Randy. Yeah, and yeah,
I absolutely agree with you. Fuck Randy. Nobody loves Randy, to be honest. I have no
yeah.
idea why he's the fucking spokesperson for Gearbox because nobody like him. He is absolutely hated by everyone. I truly have not met a single person that loves Randy. And Borderlands is big, not because of Randy, but despite of Randy. That's all I'm gonna say about that one.
Yeah,
You're
yeah. But chances are,
uh,
we'll
pass for me
we'll do
too. I
that.
don't care.
All good. Yeah, chances are we'll just play it the way that we always do. Because Priscilla wants to play it on PC, so chances are we'll just do what we always do, Morgan. uh,
Wait, hold up. But I thought crossplay
So that
exists.
I don't have to pay full
you're
price. We could
yeah
just go
you're
half on it.
yeah you're missing the point. Me and Morgan will play it on PlayStation, and then we're gonna get Priscilla a copy on PC. Priscilla wants to
Okay.
play Borderlands on PC, so she said that early on. She said she wanted to play it on her 4080 Super. So
I knew she'd
Oh,
want to play it on PC.
oh,
had a
absolutely.
wide, had a wide screen, right?
No, she has this one set up to a 4K mini LED TV in the bedroom.
Oh, okay,
That's her new favorite setup.
The
But
bed.
okay.
yeah, the bed. But yeah, she has her OLED ultra wide in the living room. If she that's what she likes to have it there, because then she could play ultra wide in the living room, and then she could go in the bedroom and play on the 4K mini LED. So his
Gotcha. But at any case, crossplay exists, so it's gonna be fun either way.
well, yeah, exactly. Which is why I was excited to making sure that crossplay was there day one, which it will be. And nobody does really great crossplay like Borderlands. Like, they set the bar when
I
it
would say
comes to
I'll give
great.
them that when
Yeah,
it comes to co-op and things like crossplay and making sure your everybody gets like equal play. Like it's not like you know that unweighted style
mm-hmm,
co-op where only one person can get the trophies or
yeah,
only one person's the lead and you got to pick up where this other person stopped. You can't go ahead. If you're ahead, you have to go back and play where the other person's playing. And I hate that because
yeah.
that was
You
in
ain't got to
Rise of
do
the
none of
Ronin,
that.
and that was like one of the worst co-ops experiences that I've ever had because I was like, oh, they advertised that Rise of the Ronin's co-op, that's cool, me and Nate can play. And we figured out that if I'm ahead of him, he can't play in my game. And I have to replay the missions that he's playing. So if I already played that mission, the only way we can play together is me replaying the mission that I just played. And I was just like, this is dumb.
Yeah, that
Like
I
we
don't
can't
even
play
I
new
don't even know why
missions
they
at the same
advertise
time
co-op.
either.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was
it's like
insane.
okay, because we were like, okay, so we'll just catch up and we'll be on the same mission together. That way we can just play the same mission at the same
Mm-hmm.
time
I,
for both.
I,
And we couldn't do that. I was just like, what kind of co-op is this?
yeah,
Exactly.
that's insane. I will say, I'm maybe it's me, but I have yet to play a game where you can literally be so far ahead, let's say level 80, fighting the same enemy with somebody like Morgan that literally just started playing the game. I'm fighting an enemy level 80, Morgan fighting the same enemy, so she is shooting at it the same time as I'm shooting, but on her end it's level 2. While
Yeah,
I'm level.
yeah,
That to me, that
yeah. That's a very cool mechanic that Gearbox does. I appreciate
that
that.
Yep.
insane mechanic.
Yeah,
I
it's
have
awesome.
yet to see, like I have yet to see anyone push that bar so high. Borderlands is on a tier on its own so far,
Well,
and I
the only
played.
other way they typically do it is if the co-op game that you're playing has no levels. That's the only other way they really do it. So it's for them to balance levels and complex RPG mechanics on top of that, while letting you seamlessly all play together, is always been incredible.
And this game is gonna be way more uh, single player fight. I can't wait.
Okay. So some maybe, right, Wara, but most MMOs have a hard line level per area. So most of the time we end up having to go back and power level somebody to catch up so that they can play with us. in a new area or something like that. So there are some that will alter levels and stuff like that, but yeah, the standard, at least for the MMOs that I've played over the years, which is like 100. Most of them have hard level caps per area, um, and then it's for that. It's usually a matter of if they let you power level or not. So there is that as well. So that's why I say it is rare for them to do that. But yeah, there are MMOs that do a similar system where they can alter what the person experiences based on their own level. Um, but yeah, so in other news, we had this. We'll go ahead and cover both of the Xbox news. Xbox, Sarah Bond announced that they're building the next generation of Xbox first party devices and cloud with AMD, and that it will not be locked to one storefront, is her exact phrasing, and that your library will travel forward with you. Um, Again, when you listen to that phrasing and that wording, it's very specific. It's very as far as like it's very well, it's very non-specific is what I should say, as opposed to that. They left it very open, a very PR centric statement. People are doing what they do best for Xbox right now and running with what they said and then surmising things or coming to conclusions, as if she said something specific, in tandem with the update for the Xbox app on or the Game Pass app on PC, allowing you to launch games that you've bought and installed on Steam first. So a lot like God Galaxy, or the way that you can include a non-Steam game in Steam already. So again, people are taking that as a sign that somehow you're going to be able to fully integrate Steam in the next Xbox, assuming, they're taking this as cold hard facts that the next one is going to be a hybrid and a lot of other things. People are surmising from this that definitely were not said. So take all that you hear over these coming weeks and these past weeks with a massive grain of salt from a lot of people who are literally stating things as if they are in concrete in writing, and as if Microsoft said them or Xbox said them directly, because that statement I just gave is pretty much all she gave. The statement was literally 60 seconds long, like a minute and 6 seconds was the messaging, and AMD's messaging from their CEO was really no different, other than stating that they're going to work on multiple initiatives to help them in the future, essentially announcing a continued partnership, because AMD has been working with Xbox, like that's not new. Again, like I said, what that actually ultimately turns into, nobody really knows right now, right? The only thing people know that has officially been announced from the other showcase that happened is the ROG Ally X, which is a PC handheld with an Xbox stamp on it, and to quote Slow Mo, some Xbox love handles to alter the way that it feels. So give you the Xbox, kind of layout for the controller and the back grips. But yeah, like I said, nothing concrete out of this announcement so far, other than them committing to, at least based on what Sarah Bond said, committing to them making a next generation console. What exactly that entails, we don't really know. Again, like I said, no one really knows outside of whoever is in this super secret R&D for them. Like I said, and to be transparent with people so they understand, like I said, the update to Xbox to Xbox's app on PC right now, you do not purchase. There is not a full integration of Steam. And people, I don't know why people are lying about this. It is not a full integration of Steam.
They want to give Xbox a W.
They want to
That's
do a
what they
lot.
care
They want
about.
to do a lot of things right now. But yeah, you can just launch a game that you must first launch Steam, purchase the game, install the game on Steam, and then the game can simply be detected or launched from there. Which again, anyone who has gamed on PC for more than 5 minutes knows there are 10,000 applications that do that. You can launch stuff from the Nvidia window for all you cared if you wanted to. Again, it's nothing new. Like I said, if you like it, cool. Like I said, I'm not sure anybody that likes it. Like personally, I don't like that. I don't want my Steam library showing up. So hopefully there's a setting to turn that off. I do not want it picking up other games installed on my system. I use the Xbox app exclusively for the games that I get on Game Pass, and that is all I want it to show. So I'm the complete opposite of some of these people who are rah-rah and cheering in the streets. Do not do that. And like I said, one of my biggest complaints about Microsoft is when they do implement stuff, they do not give you the ability to turn it off. So that better be there. Because again, that's something that always pisses me off when they do it. The same reason why I don't play certain games. I wouldn't ever play certain games on Xbox when they don't have the ability to turn off crossplay in some of their games. They're adding it to some of the games now, but for a long time they didn't have the ability to turn off crossplay to play with PC people on a lot of their titles. So that would piss me off. So again, they need to be real careful about how they implement this stuff in the future and how all this goes. Because like I said, I'm not a fan of that. I don't want that stuff there. I'm a power user when it comes to PC. I like to have full control of my stuff, and I don't want a bunch of shit integrated that I didn't specify like that. So don't do that. Yeah, that is a massive warning for Microsoft. Like, do not force anything like that on me. I will get rid of you ASAP. Like, don't play
You
me.
know for a fact they're gonna put it. Come on.
I mean, honestly, most people will find a way to disable it if they don't want it anyway. Like, there's always a back end way. That's the good thing about PC. Uh, Whether it's, going through, running a script, doing all kinds of stuff. But yeah, they definitely need to learn their lesson when it comes to forcing things in the PC realm. So they definitely want to be careful there. As far as the actual, new UI, them talking about working with Windows and creating a more gaming focused, better optimized Windows. Again, we will see. Again, anyone who has been on PC for more than 5 minutes knows that Microsoft has always promised with a better Windows with less bloatware and less nonsense running in the background to create a more optimized experience. And they've been promising that for the past 2 decades. And
I
we
love how
get a
people
little increments.
always hated on Microsoft Windows, but now all of a sudden they wanna gloat it. Like, excuse you, what happened to hating on it? I love how I don't know. It feels like console war is so ingrained in people's identity they can't think without it.
Yeah, exactly. And Priscilla made another statement in the chat. That's something I don't like. And that's another reason I don't like them forcing that. Because I don't want you detecting things on my PC that I don't want you detecting. Like I didn't choose to share that with you. So if I don't link my Steam through that, I don't want it detecting that, and I don't want you linking it through. Because Priscilla made a really good point, right? What they want is your data. Companies always want your data. They want to sell it, they want to utilize it so that they can course correct what they want to do. So that's another thing that I don't like. Like a lot of people are like I said, you've got the fanboys going crazy over this stuff, but that's another aspect that is not ever really looked at. People, the war for your data is basically the biggest thing going on right now, more than anything else, because selling your data to these companies, these analytics companies, and so on and so forth, and them utilizing it themselves is some of the biggest money in the industry. So that's another reason why I'm like them integrating something that is detecting other things on my PC. I don't want that. But yeah, that's again, there's a lot of really bad and caveats to this that I'm not a fan of. Like I said, as long as it can be turned off, that's fine. Like, because that is the thing with PC, is always giving me the option. The moment you remove the option, well, like now we got a problem. Um, but yeah, like I said, after hearing all that and what they've announced going forward, From the announcement from Sarah Bond, them committing to the next generation platform. Again, like I said, there's not much info here, but Weeb, how are you feeling about the state of Xbox going forward in the future and them committing to working with backwards compatibility, working closer with the Windows team, the facts about what they stated here. I don't know if Weeb is actually there yet. He might not. Okay, there
Oh
we
no,
go.
I'm here. I'm here.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, it's like you said, they're very good at talking a lot and saying nothing really.
mm-hmm.
Um, and to me, like I honestly, I don't really care anymore about that, what Xbox does. Like there's nothing like the only thing that's worth getting excited about is if they have any good games coming up. But that's about it. Like I'm not interested in their new hardware. This is my first and last Xbox. Like I just bought it for the backwards compatibility with some 360 games, and that's it. Like I don't need any more Xbox because I have no confidence that they're gonna make a console that's worth getting. They don't believe in exclusives. They're putting their shit on PlayStation. Like, what's the point of getting another piece of hardware in your living room when basically the competitor can do everything you can do and is getting your games? So yeah,
Agreed.
I don't know. And their push for PC, like again, like I think this is sort of their long game, right? Their whole strategy with their oh yeah, this is an Xbox, this is an Xbox. They're just gonna they're turning it into a brand they can slap on to anything, and they can just come out with a custom built PC and just slap an Xbox logo on and say, hey, yeah, this is an Xbox. It's basically the El Cheapo PCs you buy at a Walmart or whatever.
Yeah,
But yeah, it has an Xbox brand on it. So yeah, so it's an Xbox. Even though it's basically just a Windows device where that yeah you can play Steam on it because it's just a PC. Um, yeah, I mean I don't care. Like not nothing. Like it's not for. I don't know what this is supposed to be for because in the end, like if you're gonna make it a PC, then uh, build your own PC and become a
exactly.
full-fledged PC gamer. Like that's kind of the thing is like you what the argument of PC master race is always like, yeah, well, why will you buy a console? You can just build a PC. It will always be better and yeah, but consoles are have their advantages mostly because they have exclusive games that you can play anywhere else, or if they're dropping their games, or there's a high chance they're going to be they're run better because of optimization issues, if they're originally made for consoles. um, and there are a lot of people who like the convenience, and I'm look there I used to have like always have had a PC, so I know how to assemble a PC. I know how to configure it. Like I don't think it's that big of a deal. Like
Yeah,
the purists, the console purists are always like on about how difficult it is. Like that's bullshit. But I do get the convenience aspect because you don't have to worry. Like I as a PC gamer, you have that that I know that. Like okay, you always have to check. Okay, is my PC able to run this game properly, right? Or
exactly.
and that's something you don't have to worry about as a console. It is entirely possible that sometimes a game slips by that runs like like shit basically. Like there's nothing there. It just runs terrible on the console, but hopefully you'll get a refund if that's the case. But for the most part, they will run as advertised, and you don't have to worry about that. I think that's for a lot of people very convenient. Like you want to just be able to boot on your gaming device, put your game in, or launch a game and play it. Because that's kind of the thing is, what we're always saying, like, it's not the money aspect, it's the time aspect. We value our time more than being able to save a couple of bucks on a purchase, or being able to get the most value out of your money. I mean, getting value out of my money is getting the most value out of my time, right? Like I want to play a quality title, whether it's indie, whether that's AAA, but I want to just play something that respects my time, but also that makes my time feel valuable, right? That not that I at the end of it think, okay, why the hell did I spend hours on this game that I didn't in the end enjoy that much, or left me disappointed. And that's a thing that Xbox doesn't get. That's a thing that a lot of their fans don't get. Like, it's not a matter of the quantity. It's not a matter of I don't care if my device can play Steam, or has all these backwards compatibility titles. Like, I mean, if I want to play 'em, there's always a way. But in the end,
Yeah.
I want to just get new experiences. I want to be able to experience them in at least the best way, within the confines of that medium. Um, and I don't really want to waste my time with it. I don't want to. I think I lost Morgan. Or is it Omar? No, it's Morgan. um, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, Xbox sucks. Let's move on.
Nah, I definitely get you. Yeah, I mean, I'm in the same boat with you. Like I said, it's just keep the good games coming. Let me know when Fable drops. Hopefully, it's good.
Yep.
Keep these other games coming, and I'll have a way to play them. But yeah, as of right now, the direction they're going um, doesn't really change anything for me. like, uh,
Yeah.
despite
Like
how
you
some
guys
people are
all
trying to
have
do it.
PC. Why do you need an Xbox like that? I can't comprehend it. Most people are champions that have a PC.
Yeah,
I
they
don't
do.
know. Console war is a weird thing, dude.
It is extremely weird. Um, yeah, it looks like we lost Morgan. She might. Uh, she's been in and out, so we'll see if she comes back.
I mean,
But
she gave us her opinion on the train too, and
yeah.
that's all that matters. But
Uh,
nah, I'm joking. By
but
the
yeah.
way, speaking of the training too, 1 second. Apparently in VR training, your training level up goes to you in the main game. Yo, that's crazy. I was just killing a few people in VR, and I leveled up my handgun.
Oh well, that's useful.
That's insane. Especially if you don't like using it, but maybe for the plot you need to level everything up 100%.
Potentially. But yeah, that's another cool aspect. But yeah, for you, Omar, does any of these announcements excite you, or you in line with us? So you just give me the games, and I'll play them on my PC. Call it a day.
Like this, I I don't need an Xbox. I'm sorry, I just don't. I'm way more content with my PC. The only reason I would want an Xbox is to play what you call it, that Lost
Lost Odyssey.
Odyssey on Blue Dragon. That's about it. That's the only two IPs that I never play that I want to play. But guess what? The word on the street apparently Xbox have created what you call it, not an organization, but like uh, they have an idea about bringing back all the titles, bringing them to, you know, revive them to PC and the new Xbox. I'm like, okay, I will finally be able to play Lost Odyssey and Blue Dragon and call it a day.
Yeah,
I don't
agreed.
know. To me it feels like Xbox, not Xbox, Microsoft have given up. Like they've like I um is that a topic? Hellblade 2 or no?
What about Hellblade 2? No, I don't.
Uh,
I mean, none of us even like the game like that. So
no, but it is a precedent that's been set before where Xbox gamers are getting the least experience. But when it comes to PlayStation gamers, they're getting the full blown experience.
yeah, you mean they're getting features that they didn't get at launch?
Like you are not getting day 160 FPS because of Series X. That's that's literally it. And because Xbox don't want to admit that the Series X is not what it seems to be, what they said it is. And the fact that uh, Hellblade 2, which again I don't fuck with Hellblade 2, it's a terrible game. It's absolutely atrocious. And I said it to Morgan, I said it to Jube. Not even DualSense can save this game. But the fact that we're getting a 60 FPS and also Xbox Series X is getting a 60 FPS, but Series S is getting a 30 FPS. What does that say about why they did it? I would not be surprised if Avowed is gonna be 60 on PlayStation. I
Yeah,
would not be surprised if Starfield is gonna be 60 on PlayStation. And this is what I'm talking about in the sense of Microsoft and Xbox focus is totally from what it should be. They're trying to be, I don't understand. They want to be that, what you call it, gamer friendly company, yet rated all the prices for 80. Rated counter prices. I, I, I don't, and before people say PlayStation about to do it, PlayStation have yet to do that.
yeah,
So I don't know. Maybe if I was an Xbox dude, I'm like, you're giving me mixed messages here. You wanna come over as a hip cool new kid on the block, which you're not new. You've been in the market for how long? And you're trying to say, oh, we're hip, we're doing this, we're giving you freedom, freedom, baby. At the same time, don't look over there. $80 game price tag. Don't look over here. Raise prices for their consoles that not even selling. While PlayStation is sitting at 60 million console sales, Xbox just at 20. I think 20 something.
it's like
Not
20.
even 30 million.
Yeah, it's like 20,
Sorry?
27 or 28 million or something like that.
Yeah, like they have less Xbox. Like this is just how crazy it is. Their console sales are less than their Game Pass. Uh, most Game Pass numbers on Xbox, which is sitting around 30 million. I don't know, dude. If it's me, I was an Xbox dude, I would be beyond frustrated right now. I was like, you guys given up, haven't you? Why would you want Steam just to say, we got you, PlayStation, we now get, congratulations, you're playing Spider-Man on your on your, I don't know what I'm gonna call it, PC, Xbox? Congratulations, you're playing an amazing game. Took you a while, cause
Yeah,
God knows Xbox is not, haven't given you any of that. Hyped up, what you call it, Thought of Midnight only to be a letdown. Hyped up Hellblade 2 only to be one of the worst game ever. I'm excited about Clockwork Revolution, but with and with Xbox track record, hey, I don't know, dude. I absolutely don't know what Xbox is doing. It absolutely feels like mismessaging. And to me, it genuinely feels like they want to take it to PlayStation just to get the games, which I'm like, congratulations. You just admitting that you want PlayStation games because you can't make them your own.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it is what it is.
Oh,
To
oh,
answer,
and
what?
by the way, PlayStation have yet said again, we're not doing day and date. So,
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I'm not even listening to them on that stuff. They're not even. Most of these people aren't even really playing the games. They're just out here bullshitting.
they
But,
do games. No, we already
but yeah.
concluded that not long ago.
To answer your question, Crow. I mean, I'd rather have a Switch too. Like, it's not about the pricing. For that, I buy most of my games day one anyway. What I want is good games, and I'd rather have that because I'd rather play Xbox games on PC, where I can control my own experience and not have to be at the behest or the whims of parity clauses with the Series S and that weaker machine. And I could play my games at 100 plus FPS. So yeah, I'd rather have a Switch too. They I have a really extremely tight curated library when it comes to Nintendo. Um, so I'm like the worst person when it comes to a Nintendo console, right? I'm not a fan of Mario anymore. The standard like Mario platformers. I'm not a fan of Kirby, Metroid, any of that stuff. Even Zelda. Like I don't like most of the games that people buy Nintendo for, but the stuff that they do have, the Xenoblades and some of the custom stuff that they get exclusive, um, and Fire Emblem and Pokemon and stuff, those exclusives are enough for me to warrant the purchase of the Switch 2. So, yeah, I would still much rather have a Switch 2 regardless. Um, but yeah, and
But
then
did
your
you
other
not
your
agree that it's a messaging?
their messaging is all over the place. I mean, we already established that.
Yeah.
The messaging as far as what we were discussing just now is just not clear, and I mean they did it that way on purpose. Um, the MetaQuest thing, Crow. I mean, I don't disagree with you. I just my issue with the Quest and like VR in general, but especially the MetaQuest, is that there's just too many damn iterations of that device. We went from the Quest 1 to the Quest 2 to the Quest 3 in like what feels like 5 minutes. It's like I'm already anticipating the next one. So that really annoys me with them because we got the Quest 2, only for the Quest 3 to come out what felt like 5 minutes later. Like, so I'm not a big fan of um, overly iterative hardware that is constantly changing and then making the prior one just obsolete in a year or a year and a half or something. So yeah, they got to get that together before I really care about that. I personally, the other issue for me, like I said, that's a cool feature, the whole seeing the screen thing. But the other thing for me is like I don't want to wear a headset, um, like that. So the fatigue from VR for me, wearing a VR headset is really high on my eyes. I'm not a fan of it. Um, so again, that's not for me. I think it's a cool device. I think that's a cool thing with the share screen for the PC accessory and stuff like that with MetaQuest 3. It's clearly a good device, but I mean, I'm not just. Then they went up on the price as well not too long ago, so it's like again that their product and the way that they've come out and stuff just kind of rubbed me the wrong way. But yeah, I mean, I get what you mean. I don't disagree with the feature set, but yeah, they've just driven me crazy at the speed that they've iterated on that device over time. But yeah, oh yeah, no Steam Deck 2 for a while. Yeah, I think it'll be a while on that as well. Um, and honestly, that'll be the time when I'll take a look. I'm a very particular person when it comes to hardware. Um, like I said, there's certain times and certain iterations of things when you can tell is the time when something it's time to buy in on something when someone's really or a company has really nailed down the hardware for something and they're not going to iterate on it 5,000 times. Like people this entire time, regardless of whatever's come out, the Steam Deck is still ultimately the device to get. Like that says a lot to me about the time they took to really iterate on that and constantly improve it. Whether you want a Steam Deck OLED or not or whatever, the Steam Deck has still remained relevant despite 10,000 other PC, handhelds coming out. Um, so yeah, I mean, shout out to them for doing that. They definitely designed that more in line with what I like. What PlayStation finally does decide to do their handheld platform. They always wait for the tech to be at a certain point before they move to the next step. Because PlayStation does not want to put out 15 different versions of a device or alienate somebody because they got to come out with an improved version. A year or two later, like the ROG Ally did when they came out with the ROG Ally X, and so on and so forth. But yeah, I don't know if you can talk, Morgan, but yeah, we were just giving our final thoughts as far as Xbox. I don't think you got to go before, but about basically just with Sarah Bond, the general messaging. How are you feeling about Xbox and their announcements? Is it making you excited for Xbox, or you just give me the games and I'll continue to play as I have?
Excited for Xbox. No. Um, Listen, when it comes to Xbox, I don't understand, particularly with the fan base, um, why they keep allowing Xbox to get their expectations up just to disappoint them. Um, I am not taking anything they say as anything definitive. Okay, Xbox execs have said so much, and especially with these past 2 3 years, that have turned out to be the complete opposite of what they said. So I don't. It's like every time. It's like Chicken Little with the sky is falling. Like they'll say it and people believe it, and then it doesn't. And and they're disappointed, but then they say something else again, and they believe them again. And I'm just like, listen, if you want to put your faith in Xbox, that is your prerogative. I'm not going to stop you. That's what you want to do. But to me, Xbox has like literally done the opposite of what they said they're going to do, especially this generation, right? They launched a new gen console with no exclusives. um they got everybody to rah them when they went and acquired Activision on the presumption that, hey, we're finally going to have exclusive games. Phil came out and said, people kept asking, are these Bethesda games going to be exclusive? Are these Activision games going to be exclusive? And his whole thing was, these games will exist where Game Pass exists. And last time I checked, Game Pass isn't on PlayStation. And they decided to just do a full spree, flash sale on PlayStation immediately. Like, oh, it's just for games.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And now, 4 games later, we're down to like every major IP from Xbox. So it's just like, again, they're saying something else now. And people are once again believing
Believing
exactly
them,
what they say.
yeah.
And I'm just like, oh, how many times do these execs have to, and they get mad, like, well, things change. Exactly, things change. So why are you so gung ho that this is the one thing that won't change?
Yeah, that is
Like,
really weird.
I'll I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah, yeah. That's
Okay,
where I'm at.
that's how I am. Not with just Xbox. I'm the same way with PlayStation. I will believe it
Mm-hmm.
when I see it, because again, markets change, things change, especially when it comes to Xbox. They've had to completely change their strategy to a point where it's like, no one, you could have asked somebody during the Xbox One generation or even Xbox 360 that if they thought this was going to be the way things would turn out, and they'd be like, no, you're lying, you're cope. No, this is exactly what happened. And then with the whole Sarah Bond interview, nowhere in there did she definitively say that the next Xbox console was going to be having Steam, but
Yeah,
everybody took it as that. All she said was the Xbox ecosystem will not be locked to one store, and not be locked to one platform. It's already like that. The Xbox
literally already like
ecosystem
that.
is on multiple platforms, i.e., PC, PlayStation, Nintendo. You can already access their games on multiple storefronts, and you don't and it's already not locked to one device, i.e.,
Exactly.
a PlayStation, a PC, a Nintendo. Like, she's not saying anything new, but they take that as, oh my God, that means Steam's gonna be on Xbox. I'm like, oh, if that's what you read into it, cool. That's your prerogative. But people are hearing what they want to hear, and if
Exactly.
this does not turn out the way they want to, it is going to be a field day online when these next gen consoles are announced. And I'm just saying, take everything every executive said. I'm not talking about just Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo. Take everything they say with a grain of salt because things change, industry changes, especially during this type of turmoil that we have going on with the world economy. Just be prepared for shit to change. Okay, don't think that everything's gonna go the way you think it is. So, I mean, that's all I have to say.
No, I agree.
That's for every
Perfectly stated.
company, yeah.
What's for every company?
That thing always changes, which I agree.
Oh yeah, I mean of course. You have to move with the markets and what's available and what's happening and so on and so forth. But yeah, people thinking that they're locked in for something 2 years from now, and it's going to be whatever they think it's going to be, um, based on her not committing. Should not based on her not directly stating any of that is hilarious. So, but yeah, I don't know, man. People, the belief from Xbox executives' mouths is like Santa Claus at this point, man. Like they're just like, no, you're not gonna tell me Santa Claus ain't real. You know, like I don't know what to tell some of these people, man, when it comes to this stuff. But yeah, in other news for Xbox, um, bad news, which seems to be a continuing trend for them. This particular bit of news, obviously, to placate the idea, obviously layoffs in general, global economy and a bunch of stuff has been happening, but uh, on average, Microsoft has laid off a massive percentage of their workforce. I remember we started back in, I want to say 2020 or 2021 or something with like 10,000 plus. Then there's been a couple thousand, which feels like every now and then. Uh, and then now, this next round of layoffs seems like it's going to specifically target Xbox, laying off a significant percentage. No one knows what it's going to be yet. There's a lot of uncertainty, it seems, from some teams thinking that the studios themselves may be closed. Specifically, on the chopping block right now, it looks like it might be the Forza Motorsports team, at least based on rumors and things that are kind of going around. Who ultimately gets cut? We don't know. Uh, you know, there's been some statements given that hopefully, uh, they can kind of get a heads up and see what's really going to happen, what's going to take place. It's never fun having to deal with this. No one wants, we don't want anybody working in the industry or anyone in general, having to go through, the struggle of losing their job, their primary income and so on and so forth. But, a lot of people, like I said, were warned about, the direction Xbox was taking with consolidation and all these things, and ultimately it resulting in multiple rounds of layoffs. Um, and that's exactly what's come to fruition. And some people, Destin Legiri specifically, championed the consolidation with this notion, as well as Paris. I have no problem naming these people. I mean, they know what they said. They are very aware of the business aspect of overlap. What happens when these things happen? And Destin specifically stating he thought it would result in better work conditions, and a lot of fans were like, oh, they're not gonna get rid of anybody because Microsoft is so rich. They're just gonna give everybody amazing great jobs, and they're gonna produce 40,000 things from Activision's untapped backlog and give us prototype 3 or 4 or whatever it would be now, and we're gonna get all these wonderful things out of this. And while we have gotten Microsoft firing off, a decent lineup and stuff as of late, and getting some of these other studios to, at least release something. It has definitely come with a lot of caveats and a lot of layoffs. And like I said, this just seems like it's about to be the latest round. Hopefully, it's not that crazy. Uh, I hope it was just a rumor because, like I said, definitely don't want anyone losing their job out here. We appreciate everybody in the gaming industry that creates these games for us. Creating games is not easy, and it is a tough field out here. Regardless of where you worked and where the layoffs took place. And again, like I said, this isn't specifically to say that they're the only ones. It's just it's been a repeat thing, right? I mean, PlayStation just had their round. They had a round of layoffs where uh, at Ben Studio and so on and so forth, restructuring for whatever their next project is. So, typical stuff when you're switching projects and stuff definitely happens in the game industry. But again, like I said, to the tune of thousands and thousands over the last couple of years is definitely not something you want to see. Um, but yeah, like I said, we don't really know what it's going to entail. If studios are going to close, the idea is that it's supposed to happen next week. But yeah, I mean, it's just sad to see. You don't want that. I don't want that. I want to see all these companies that are under them that develop games for them thrive and create amazing titles. We have said multiple times on this show since we started it that we never want it, quote unquote, Xbox to go away. We're always waiting for them to give us the next great title, and want them to do nothing but create great games because ultimately that's what we do. We want to play great games no matter who they're coming from. Like, we don't care about that. So, yeah, I mean, like I said, hopefully it's exaggerated, and hopefully none of these studios get closed down, and it's not as bad as it sounds. But that is the current rumor mill right now. Um, Morgan, how are you feeling about this? After like I said, the years of in rounds of layoffs coming through from this. How what's the temperature like for you on this?
Mm, Yeah, it's honestly always sad when you hear about more rounds of layoffs. Like it seems like this is a very big precedent, especially in the gaming industry. I guess because it's such a volatile industry where you're getting a bunch of creators to come together to make something, and then when that's done, especially because you've overlapped and you've overhired to um make these big triple A, quadruple A style games that um are honestly getting way too big and way too over budget. And now that you've spent that exorbitant amount of money, you need to kind of start making that money back. So then that leads to these layoffs of firing the people that are quote unquote not necessary anymore. You just I guess you just need like the core team and a small team to kind of do updates and things of like that nature. So you just don't need all the people that you put that you hired hands on deck. So it's really sad because I feel so bad for devs because it's just like you get into this business because of your passion of for love for gaming, just for you to be in a business that is as volatile as gaming. Like you're constantly moving from studio to studio, taking job to job because it's really hard to land at a studio where you'll, like you used to, where you could be at a studio for 20, 30 years, right? Move up the chain and
Exactly.
everything like that. It just seems like, every other month, devs are moving, from studio to studio. So it's just really sad to see, you know, these layoffs happening. And it's coming like at least these rumors are coming like a week or two after Microsoft just had layoffs, right? I don't think it
Mm-hmm.
was necessarily gaming, but they
Yeah.
did have it in like their business aspect or portion.
Yeah, they cut off a
Um
significant percentage of their workforce from the Microsoft side.
yeah, yeah. And then supposedly according to the rumors it's supposed to be like 10 to 20% of their gaming force. And I'm like, that's a lot. That is
That
a
is a
big
lot.
chunk of people. And then they're rumoring that turn 10 is apparently on the chopping block. And I'm like, damn, the people who make Forza Motorsport. Like, I know it's not like the more popular of the Forzas, but I would have assumed that at least the Forza franchise as a whole would be okay.
Yeah.
Um, but it's really sad because I'm hoping it's not gonna be Compulsion, the studio that made it South of Midnight.
Yeah.
But I know it probably didn't perform that well. They never announced any type of, you know, at least Xbox, they don't do sales where they at least do players, and they never really made a players announcement. Like, oh, we had 2
Hmm.
million players or 3 million players. Not that I saw, at least.
Yeah, I didn't
So
see
it's
one either.
just like I really hope not, because again, it's like the smaller studios are always the first to go. The studios that make the double A and single A games, and it's sad because those are the games I really like. I like South of Midnight, and I loved Pentiment, but Pentiment's going to be, the Pentiment studio is safe because that's Obsidian, and they just did like a smaller project, so Obsidian's not going anywhere. But
Nah.
it's just sad to see that you know supposedly Microsoft's on this thing where they want double A games and they want smaller games, but then they immediately axe the studios that make them, especially when we saw with Tango Gameworks, a game that supposedly hit all the metrics for them, but then they immediately, you know, shut down the studio. Thankfully they got bought out, but still it was gone out of the Xbox family essentially. Um, but yeah, I really hope these rumors aren't true, um, because that is a significant amount of workers that are going to be gone out of Xbox. And funny enough, Xbox is supposedly in the next couple weeks or so going to be getting into a new realm of, like, as far as their net worth. I think they're going to go up to, I don't know the specific number. I think it's like 8 or 9 trillion, another trillion as a company. And people always say, well, and that's the thing about gamers, they really don't know much about business, and that's not their fault. They're just consumers. But they always assume that because of, the more money a company makes, the more of a bubble they have, or they're going to keep employees, they're going to keep safe, they're not going to do rounds of layoffs. And I'm just like, I don't think y'all understand how multi-billion, let alone trillion-dollar companies work. In order to
Hmm.
stay a trillion-dollar company, you have to do what's called trim the fat, and that's cut off all the unnecessary, projects, people, small entities, like anything that's in the business that is, leaking money and not making anything for you. You trim it immediately. And that's how they stay trillion-dollar companies. And that's why Microsoft is having all of these layoffs, because one, they bought Activision, that was one of the biggest acquisitions ever, and they need to see some return on their investment. And in order to do that, you got to start, axing people, unfortunately. And it's just, this is why people were, some people were so against the consolidation of Activision, because that is one of the negatives of, absorbing a giant company like Activision into the fold. Like, things are going to have to get cut, and that's usually people. And it's usually the workforce, the people that actually, doing the main work, that are unfortunately going to take on that burden of losing their job. It's never the people on the top that really aren't doing much, but
True.
micromanaging everything. It's the people that are, you know, actually, the day to day working their asses off, working crunch, overtime, all this shit, doing, missing out on, with friends and family because they have to sit here and work their asses off. They're usually the first to go. Um, but I really, really do. We joke all the time about Xbox, but I never want to see people lose their jobs. I love this industry way too much to want, to be like, oh yeah, I want people to lose their jobs. I want less games. Like, no. Um, hopefully it's, I don't know. I just hope it's like you said, it's just exaggerated, and maybe it's only a couple, and I don't want to cheer for just a couple of people. Like, yeah, it was only two. Like, no. I'm just saying, I just hope it's not as widespread as the rumors are, essentially making it out to be. And hopefully the people who are let go, they find some work quickly, because I know it's hard out here as a dev to obviously just pick up, and go and find somewhere else to work. But yeah, it's a sad state of affairs. But I hope people focus on this and speak out on this as much as they, love to speak out about the possibility of Steam coming to Xbox. I hope people are just as loud if this happens and people are let go. I want just as much media attention on this as, oh, Steam's coming to Xbox, right? Um, so
Yeah.
yeah, we'll just have to see.
No, definitely. Uh, Weeb, how you feeling about this one?
Yeah, I mean, Morgan said it all. Yeah, it's a sad
Agreed.
state of affairs. That that has come to this. I mean, we all warned about this that this would happen. This is why consolidation is bad in general.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and yeah, they didn't want to listen. And now when you speak on it, they're just gonna try to turn it around. Especially people you already named, Nate, that oh yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you're celebrating a terrible thing, and they're still trying to give it a positive twist. Oh, there's also good news. No. You're not going to sugarcoat this with. There's also good news. This is terrible. People are losing their jobs, and they're losing their jobs because you were cheering on this. And yes, I know, as the fanboys didn't have any say in whether or not the acquisition is going to go through. I mean, that was the billions of dollars that Microsoft has spent over the years. Bribing politicians on both sides of the aisle. Uh, and if you think I'm joking, no. I mean, what reason would senators have from their home state, from both sides of political spectrum, have sending letters to Japan to ask them to approve the acquisition? Like, that's insane. It's
That
insane
was.
why uh, if you're trying to argue that this is not how it works, so yeah, I mean, we nobody had any chance of stopping it, but we sure as hell can at least say our conscience is clear because we were warning about this. We were saying we don't want to see this. It's not because we don't like Xbox. It's because we don't like this happening because this always happens with mergers and acquisitions. It's a fact of uh, life and doing business. I mean, it's like Morgan said, like you don't stay a $1 trillion company if you don't cut costs at some point. And especially with the way it works, you're valued by the market that way. If the market decides, okay, you have too much overhead, they're gonna punish you by devaluing your stock, and then the value of your company drops. So and at certain point, shareholders can demand your head as an executive because you're basically costing them money.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, in the end, this was kind of inevitable. After the acquisition, it was of course preventable if somebody stopped them. But of course, there is no justice in this world in that sense. If money talks, if a big corporation wants to buy something, it's going to happen. You know, bar maybe some countries having better consumer protection, but that does not seem to be the case in practice, at least when you're talking about $1 trillion companies. So in the end, we're stuck with this, and I do like Morgan, do hope it's exaggerated. I do hope it's not as bad as the rumors are, but I do fear the worst because this is totally in line with what we've seen so far and what you could expect. And yeah, I mean, I hope um, those who are affected by this manage to get back on their feet and find something else. Also, hopefully, with another gaming company that does appreciate their talents and put into good use. But yeah, it absolutely sucks to be put in that position. It's bad for the industry in general, but foremost, of course, for the people who are affected by this because it's never a fun thing. to lose your job, to lose your livelihood, and especially with the economy being as it is. I would not want to be in their shoes right now. So yeah, I mean, absolutely travesty that is happening. Yeah, I do hope that we're kind of done with these acquisitions. I do hope Microsoft. It seems very unlikely now, but I do hope they're not gonna decide to buy anything else because that does mean in the end it's gonna cost some people's their jobs, and if the studio isn't performing, it might even be shut down because it's literally happening. And the same applies to PlayStation, I guess Nintendo. Like I don't want anybody buying uh, studios, just to own them, and just you know either running them into the ground or firing their staff or closing them down because I mean, yeah, this should not come to anybody's surprise. I mean, the very fact when they bought Activision. Activision itself was a massive publisher that bought up plenty of studios and
Definitely.
uh, fired a lot of people during their run time as being independent and closed plenty of studios. And the same applies to all the other big third-party publishers. I mean, EA is known for doing it all the time, literally setting up some of the studios for failure so that they can close them because that probably is looks good under as a tax write-off. I mean that's the it seems almost like ridiculous, but the fact that we've seen this happening like with Warner Brothers, right? That they after the merger with Discovery, that they literally like canceled movies that were finished just because it would be cheaper basically them to just write off as a tax write off than to actually release the movie because they probably would not recuperate the cost, or at least would make them less money. I think very well this can apply to gaming as well. It's very well that there were studios that were probably deliberately set up to fail because they realized we're not going to make enough return on investment on these studios and the games to make to warrant their existence, even though they could still make a steady profit, but it would probably be better for them to just do a tax write-off and close studio and cut those costs. And that's how these companies think. That applies to all of them. In the end, you're just
A number.
another number, another uh, you know, post on a spreadsheet that they can just write off if it's convenient to them. So best thing you can do is hope that you're an independent studio that is able to make ends meet and you know are not beholden by any major corporation that can just kill you with the flip of a switch and keep on making you know uh, great games. I mean that's what we all hope for, that we keep getting these amazing experiences that enrich our lives, that lets us even think about it or dream about it in our sleep because that's why we game. That's what we love, and we do hope that as many people as possible could also get to make these games and keep releasing them, delivering them to us, and we can show our appreciation for them. And yeah, not facing this cynical the business side of things is yeah. I mean, yeah. What's left to say? It's terrible, and I do hope that yeah, it may be not as bad as we heard it, but still it's going to be bad either way. And I do hope this is it will be the end of this sort of this acquisition spree that we seen the last of it for the time being, and that yeah, hopefully we can enjoy many more games of all these studios that are currently delivering this content to us. So yeah, that's my 2 cents.
Agreed. Yeah. Yeah. Not always a fun topic, but again, this goes to show why we have the conversation about financials sometimes, and why we ask the question about where is the company going to make the money, because the reality is, at the end of the day, in order for these people to stay employed, it's about making money. So
Mm.
yeah, a lot of people always say, why do you guys care about how much money they make or whatever? It's like, because we want people who make video games to stay employed and be able to continue to create great games. And if you are a fan of games, I would hope you would want that too. Like, they're not, uh, they're not a separate entity. Making money and making games, like, they gotta go together. Ultimately, that's just a part of the reality. It's a business at the end of the day. Um, Omar, closing thoughts here. Are you?
Okay, I'm gonna be aged for this, and I've always said it. I always keep it to you. Look, with all respect to the developers, with all the respect to the company's business, Morgan said that I read it somewhere, and it never rings so true. Big company, PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo, they are not um, a billion-dollar corporation because what they are, but because what they do. It's a uh, cut through business.
Cutthroat.
Let's give
Yeah.
it a buck. And I'm sorry, I just can't look. I know I'm gonna be the bad guy in here, but I can't feel sad about this. We warned you it would happen. PlayStation, what you call it? Jim Ryan became such a bad guy because he tried to prevent it from happening. They literally thought Xbox was gonna buy one of the biggest publisher and not have consequences for it. Going third party and not having consequences for it. Going day one into Game Pass and day one PC and not have consequences for it.
Yeah.
We've been
To be clear, what you mean is you don't feel bad about the people who champion this, because
yeah
now they're
I do
getting
yeah no
exactly
yeah
what they were warned
precisely
about. Yeah.
yeah like no the developers I absolutely feel sorry for them. I need to be very clear about that. But the people that championed it, again, Destiny Najiri, you brought his name. He tried to pretend that Persona was using it as a console war thing, even though he was the one that using it as a console war thing.
He was.
And this is that's a frustrating thing. Like people championed Lucy to no end. And for people who don't know, Lucy was either a spokesperson or
She was an
had a very
executive for
high.
Activision.
Okay, thank you. Executive for Activision. And she literally played Xbox fanbase like a fucking fiddle. They literally ate off the palm of their hand. Like, they were. They called her Queen, Xbox Queen or something. Like,
They
and I'm
called
not
them
talking one
the
person.
three Valkyries of Xbox.
Yo, I
Only for her to
like.
leave immediately after the acquisition went through.
Yes, yes. And not even look back once. She cut tie with Activision and where she is now. I think she was somewhere and she's happy. I forgot where. But the point is, they championed it. They thought Game Pass, Call of Duty and Game Pass is gonna skyrocket their, what you call it, Game Pass number to 50, 60, 70 million. What
They
happened?
did.
It barely cracked 35 million. Xbox, Microsoft, either Xbox or Microsoft boss literally had to remove Game Pass from his bonuses numbers. Like to me, it here than under while the woman is brilliant. It just showed you how fickle they are. They she played them. And they fell for it, hook, line, and sinker. And it's so funny. We tried to want anything. We all tried to want like I can't comprehend that these people are doctors, nurses, whatsoever. At their work, they can understand what's happening. But the second it goes to gaming, all of a sudden, all they think is with championing their company. They don't think logically. Oh my bad, what? But yeah, going back to it, it's frustrating, and this is looking like their biggest pay cut out out there. And if the rumors are true, we might be looking at 10 to 20% of Xbox entire uh, Xbox. Rumors are entire studios are closing down. Like it. This is why I said Microsoft is showing such a what you call it um mis mismanagement, but also they screwed up multiple times this generation alone. The Series S should have never existed. The series S made it so that we got Wukong a semi-exclusivity deal until it wasn't, or Baldur's Gate 3 a semi-exclusivity deal, them getting 30 FPS games. You know, the things that they promised they would never touch. All of a sudden it became a part of the gameplay. Um, it's if you're an Xbox fan, I question how you feel about this. How do you justify this? Budget cut should have never happened. I'm so mind you, this is not an Xbox issue. PlayStation lay off people all the time. Like this is absolutely not a PlayStation Xbox thing. However,
Well, the
PlayStation,
distinction is standard industry practice layoffs following the completion of a project
yeah,
versus
versus
laying off massive percentages of your
yeah, like
workforce.
10 to 20% of your enrollment allegedly. I need to stretch that out, but it is scary that this is the industry that Xbox chose to uh, the route to go with. I truly hoped Xbox would be the competition that PlayStation needed, but sadly they aren't. Not even with Micro, not like I can comprehend that they bought two publishers, one of the biggest publisher in Activision and a pretty massive publisher in Bethesda. And this is how you reward your fan base? I don't know, dude. Um, if I were to make I don't wish that at anyone, but I feel like Ninja Theory might get one. Maybe uh, compulsion, maybe I don't know. We will see. It is a scary time if you're in Xbox Studio. Absolutely, it's a scary time. And for the people that champion this, shame on you. Absolutely shame on you.
Agreed.
It makes me sick to my stomach that you guys championed this all in name of console war. But hey, I'll leave it at that.
100%. Yeah, and then real quick, we'll cover our last topic in better news and lighter news in the future of gaming news. In light of all the negative and a lot of the stuff going on that we definitely still have to cover, there's a lot of good coming out and a lot of growth happening in the industry as a whole, especially um, on initiatives that PlayStation definitely started, but we're seeing a massive rise in growth for the industry as far as developers and new development talent coming out of both China and Korea, and also pushing another surge because of that through Japan as well. So we're getting a lot of new games, a lot of new startups. Um, we're getting a lot of government level support for a lot of these, um, a lot of these entities. I watched something a while back for a company that works with a lot of the new Chinese talent, and basically the globalization of Chinese development, and how excited actually the Chinese government is for their studios, coming from China, and how proud they are of them launching these games on a global scale and promoting it, and promoting the talent that China has to offer. Like, this is something you don't really see in someplace like America, where game development has been here for a while, but you don't really see any government level involvement. If anything, you see negative takes from a lot of them, trying to impose restrictions and a lot of other things, but the complete opposite. Um, as far as China, as far as the growth and globalization of a lot of these games, they're giving different tax breaks and all kinds of other things, really with just the idea that they want to spread some of the great stories that they've had, and the talent that is just in that pool. Shout out to the companies that have reached out, and the efforts that have gone on there with the free market zone, and now eventually spreading further. It looks like consoles, if people don't know, for a long time consoles were banned in China, but it looks like they're also being sold outside of the free market zone. They were only allowed to be sold there for a while, but they spoke about some new provinces and stuff in China now getting the Nintendo consoles and PlayStations and so on and so forth. That is why the PC market there is so big, because that was all they really had there for years. So now they're experiencing massive growth, and with the Chinese development teams and Korean teams heavily supporting, at least definitely the PlayStation, but consoles in general. But yeah, PlayStation has had massive success there with Black Myth Wukong selling tons. It was actually just that alone was introduced in another province, with the PS5 being heavily marketed. Again, just a lot of great new initiatives jumping out here, and a lot of opportunities for those devs, like we talked about, that may have to move on to other projects. But yeah, I mean, the future as far as that goes looks really bright. There has been just so much new stuff and so many new things. We have seen a ton of stuff. A lot of people are big fans of Black Myth Wukong, Lies of P, Stellar Blade. These games came out and have done wonderful, just incredible. And like, to think we wouldn't have got those, if these teams were not coming out of these new developed studios, or these studios that used to primarily just work on mobile games, and now they're taking their shot at the AAA stage. And we've got new things coming. Lost Soul Aside is on the way. Not to as much fanfare, but first Berserker Kazan was definitely really well received by a lot of gamers as well. We still have Phantom Blade Zero, Crimson Desert, Tides of Annihilation, Where Winds Meet, Wu Chang, Vindictus, Antara, and plenty other games coming out of these studios. Like, the list just seems to get bigger and bigger every day. Like I said, a lot of these places are being boosted, and have assistance from their governments in order to promote, a healthy gaming environment. The Korean, I do remember, the Korean, I believe, Prime Minister spoke after the success of Stellar Blade, where he was stating, they wanted even more They wanted to promote game development on a more global stage, and growing their not just the global stage, but growing the market um, of gaming as a whole for them, um, in Korea. So, like I said, a lot of great things, a lot of emerging markets. There's even more beyond that we're seeing as well. Like I said, PlayStation extended their China Hero Project initiative to several other places. Um, the India Hero Project, Middle East Project, and so on and so forth. They've been working with quite a few talents in Africa. Like, it's been an incredible growth time for the industry while also, having to deal with those negatives. But this has been a real positive note out of it. We've gotten a lot of new studios from veterans that have left those other studios and created some amazing projects and some amazing upcoming projects as well. But yeah, just out of the things that I mentioned for you guys, um, how how do you guys feel about the future of the industry, and does it excite you seeing these new studios step on the stage and create some of these incredible projects that we have to look forward to? And if you can think of one that really stands out for you, what are you looking forward to from some of these studios, whether it's those or other projects that are coming up? um, Omar, how you feeling
Yes,
about this?
there is a reason China Hero Project exists. PlayStation was blunt about it, plain and simple. And when what happened with Terrorblade, it was dead. PlayStation revived it. Wukong, PlayStation sent a team to help bring it out earlier to PlayStation. Because clearly the dev couldn't not do it on their own. But point taken is PlayStation saw the investment in China Hero Project, and we got some phenomenal games out there. And what happened? PlayStation dominated the market now. Warawana, I need Terrorblade 2. I'm with you. But I'm also excited about their next IP. They've proven themselves with just one IP. Terrorblade is a phenomenal game. But going back to it, I'm super happy that we found PlayStation found a way to uh, create China Hero Project. That is true biggest accomplishment,
They
in my
capitalized on
opinion.
an incredible, incredible growing market.
He even after leaving the industry, Terrorblade dev still keeps gloating about it. You don't do that unless that person truly deserves it. Like, I would not be surprised if they still talk about them even in Terrorblade 2. Heck, I would not be surprised if they find a way to make him, to give him a role or something in Terrorblade 2.
Are you talking
That's
about
not how
Shu?
they, like, the truth of the matter is, this studio stayed afloat because of PlayStation, because of Shu Yoshida. Like, if you want to be blunt about it, I'm gonna be blunt about it.
I mean, they,
And
they
they,
they were themselves. I mean, he stated the game that is Stellar Blade today, as you know, it would have never happened without PlayStation's assistance. The game was much smaller, and it wouldn't have been what it is today. So that's fair.
so respect to PlayStation, but also respect to what you call it, what China is doing. It brings a different culture, a different gameplay mechanics, a different concept, a different mythology, and I'm loving it. Like, I have yet to play Wukong, but I've seen gameplay of Wukong. I never seen anything like that in a Souls game, any Souls game. The enemy design, which is why this is one of the reasons also why I love Expedition 33. It's the enemy design. They're so unique that you're like, I've never fought something like you before. So I'm super excited. I'm all about new mythology. I'm all about a new creativity. Which is I'm super excited about PlayStation Middle East project. We have a mythology of our own. And I'm curious if the PlayStation find a way to create some amazing game out of it. But yeah, not to take any what you call it, any prop from what China did. Look, Phantom Blade. I'm dying to play that demo. I need to see that demo. I
That is another
remember
big one.
I'm calling them out. Vitamin G Crew. Most people said this is not gonna be a real game. I don't believe it. It's gonna be a real game. I don't believe it's gonna be the final game. It's gonna be what it be
A
revealed.
lot of people did say
And
that.
to be fair, what they showcased was not the final, was the real game. However, what they delivered is the actual gameplay that they showcase. So their vision is a reality now. And I agree, skepticism, because a lot of big companies screw it up for other developers, but no, China's been on a roll. You named their games. Phantom Zero, I'm super excited about that. Wukong, it's right now discounted. I need to pick it up. All by all, I can't stress this enough. Play Terrorblade. Like, look up China Hero Project. There is a Metrovania game. I forgot what's called something. You play as a woman, and it's a phenomenal game playing in a cyberpunk setting. We all played it, we all beat it, we all enjoyed, loved it. We talked about it like China Hero Project. Some amazing games out there. Look it up. Shout out to Shida for this one. Respect, nothing but respect to this guy. And shout out to PlayStation for capitalizing on an area that was not attainable at first. But they found a way in, and the rest is history.
Agreed. Agreed. Weeb, how are you feeling about all this and the success of all these different initiatives, the growth of the market from China, Korea, and some of the incredible things we've seen come out of it? And are you looking forward to anything in particular?
Yeah, it is definitely, I suppose, a positive note to end on. I definitely applaud PlayStation for starting these initiative to tap into markets that were previously left untapped. I think this is the real way to grow the market, not by commodifying it with subscription services, but by tapping into yeah, these markets that were previously yeah, unexplored or had barriers or whatever. And the best way to do that is to essentially yeah, build up that game industry there. And not to say it wasn't there, but it was, you know, somewhat lacking in terms of that sort of AAA quality or AA quality,
Exactly.
um, that appeals also to the masses outside of in this case China. Then and yeah, I mean, and the console market was basically non-existent there. And I think the best way you need to sort of get into it is sort of showing, hey, look, there is demand for your games outside of your own market, and there is demand from from console gamers for your games, and that's how you get there. And yeah, it seems that Sony isn't stopping there. They've started initiatives in all across the globe, and I applaud them for it because this is how you truly get yeah grow the market, grow the gaming community, and also diversifying, the 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 gaming sphere as it were, that we get more unique experiences, that we're not getting the same old schlock from the same publishers who are pushing out the 91st entry in the long running series, where it just gave the new coat of paint. We're getting new experiences that push the industry forward, that make that inspire other developers to make better and more engaging experiences. So yeah, I definitely applaud. I definitely think this is a positive development, that's changing this industry for the better. Um, as for games I'm looking forward to, yes, but I forgot this. It was that
Crimson
that that
Desert,
hack and
Phantom Blood.
slash. No, that was that other game that was announced. I'm not sure what was it. I think was it the Game Awards maybe. Um, that sort of looked like took place in London, but it was very obviously a Chinese game, which was
Oh,
apparently a sort of a hack and slash single player game.
I think I know what you're talking
But
about, but I
I
forgot the name. It's not on that list that I made.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly like.
but there's so
Well,
many that's that's why we
yeah,
keep. Yeah, like they've been just on a rampage. Not Tides of Annihilation, right?
I think that's the one.
The one that kind of got that Devil May Cry vibe, but you play as a woman, and it's a hack
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
slash. Okay, yeah, because it does
I
have like a
think that.
London vibe.
Yeah, yeah. Was seem at least seems to be taking place in London. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. That's it. And yeah, it is from Eclipse Glow uh, Games. Never heard of them, but yeah, looks absolutely amazing. Um, so yeah, I mean, that I hope it's good, but it definitely
Definitely looks the part.
shows you the support. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, the oh yeah, yeah, and she's voiced by Jennifer English, who also did Smael in Expedition 33. Interesting.
That's awesome. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean that's at least the one that comes to mind as that really blew me away after I saw it, and definitely wanna see more of that, and yeah, once it's available, definitely want to give it a try. So yeah, but it is absolutely amazing that we're getting games like that look like this, that seem to be incredibly fun, coming from yeah, a place where yeah, we never really heard anything from before, and this just makes yeah, for us as gamers, makes it all the more interesting. There are so many potential, just like we love, JRPGs, like something that just isn't made anywhere else, that we had to give it like the label JRPG. Um, I generally hope that they're gonna be more of these very idiosyncratic game genres that are coming from different places with their own sort of stamp on their own unique identity, that we're gonna learn to yeah, to embrace and to love and to enjoy. And yeah, I definitely think that this is a positive development, that this is sort of an organic way of growing the market, and at the same time offering us more experiences that we didn't know we needed them, but there they are. So yeah.
Agreed. Yeah, like you said, same for me. I mean, it's just like I said, whether I like them all or not, because like I said, I'm not. I did try Lies of P. I wasn't a fan, but I think it's a great game objectively. I know why I didn't like it. It just wasn't for me, but I still think it's an awesome game. And Kay, even she hasn't been on the podcast for a while, but she really, really loves Lies of P, and that's an incredible game.
Yeah.
I did play Black Myth Wukong, and I did enjoy Black Myth Wukong. I'm like I said, I'm just shy of finishing that as well. I played in Platinum Stellar Blade, and like I said, a lot of these other games are just looking really good. Lost Soul Aside is probably something I'll pick up as well. I don't know if it'll be like a Black Friday pickup or something, but we'll see. I do agree with Weeb. Tides of Annihilation looks really good. Crimson Desert is probably my big one.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
That looks insane. The amount of mechanics and things going on in that game just, oh, every time I see that game, it just looks so impressive. And the fact that again, people have gotten to play it, firsthand at some of these events, including PAX East recently. Um, so I mean, I know it's 100% real, and a lot of people have gotten their shot at it. Um, just the contextual way the combat works and stuff like that looks incredible. Phantom Blade Zero as well looks insane, unlike anything I've ever
Yeah.
seen before. Like I feel like I'm in the middle of like an action anime, but also like old school kung fu Five Deadly Venoms type thing. Like it's insane what they're achieving with the camera work and combat, the way the combat looks in that game. Where Winds Meet makes me excited for a more wuxia approach in the AAA space. If anybody is a fan of Chinese stuff, you know
Oh
what wuxia is.
yes, absolutely. But isn't that a Souls-like game or?
Not that I know of. From what I looked
Okay.
at,
Okay.
but
It's an
yeah.
I think it's an online soap, like from what I've seen so far. But it is an online thing, sadly.
I mean, I know Wu Ching. I know Wu Ching is something like that. But where Wind meets, at least from what I've seen, it seems more action as a more of an action RPG. Um,
Okay.
but
Okay.
yeah,
Well,
but
you know me, I'm gonna give it a go if it's any good.
yeah, but it definitely looks really good. And yeah, like I said, even besides those areas, I
Yeah,
mean, there.
so Hero said it.
Oh,
Where winds meet is online only.
yeah, that's fine. I mean, it still looks good.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, like I said, we'll see what comes out of all these projects. Like I said, a lot of great stuff to look forward to. Like I said, not just there, but it seems like the invigoration from those projects has definitely invigorated some of the other spaces. I mean, we've gotten a lot of new teams in the globally as well, like the expedition team, like the upcoming team for I can't remember the name of it right now. I don't know why it's slipping my mind, but the previous BioWare team that's working on the new sci-fi action RPG. Um, I don't know. I literally have the book for it on my phone, but Exodus.
Uh,
Yeah, yeah. There we go.
Exodus. Yeah.
Yeah, Exodus, and like again, just so many new teams getting together, veterans and new alike, giving opportunities again to people who haven't had an opportunity in the space. So again, more untapped talent, right? Um, in these newer teams, you don't need a resume a mile long. They think you could do the job. They get you on the team. You learn on the go, and you end up being a part of something incredible. Like we said, like a ton of the people on you know the Expedition 33 team were freshmen. When it comes to designing games, some of them had never designed a game ever. So some of them have never written ever. Like there's just so much untapped talent out here, and it's dope to see that growth happen alongside continuing to give industry veterans and new talent alike an incredible place to grow and continue to create these great games that we get to enjoy. So again, like I said, to end it on a more positive note, while there is a lot of layoffs and stuff, there's a ton of growth out there and a ton of new opportunities, both in the AAA studios and being created from the ground up. So, wish the entire industry the best. Thank all the devs, for all their hard work. Because, like I said, if creating games was easy, we'd all be doing it. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get up out of here. I'm sure Morgan agrees with us and feels the same. Like she had to run. Um, but yeah, Weeb, let the people know where they can find you, sir.
You can find me on Twitter and Blue Sky as the Weep Sheriff at Infinite Rhizome. Yeah, Great show again. Looking forward to next week doing the spoiler cast. And yeah, yeah, you can find me probably heading off to bed soon because it's really late here. And yeah, Other Nation.
Otter Nation. Omar, where can the people find you, sir?
Shout out to everyone that came through. Played the stranding too. Shout out to Pragmata. I'm so excited about that game. But yeah, you can find me in Caravan Scotty on Twitter. Hit that live and share the team out. And see you next week. Spoiler cast. Can't wait. Unless something happen World War III or Xbox by another publisher. Who knows?
Right. I guess real quick, Wara wanted to know what you guys think the first announcement for Death Stranding 2's milestone sales will be. Will they announce it? 1 million sales, 2 million sales, 3 million
Oh,
sales?
oh,
Like,
that's interesting one. I'm, I'm hoping for 2 million,
okay.
but I don't know what's gonna be real top because it's such a divisive game.
I mean,
Despite the fact me
it's
loving the
also a
fuck out of
sequel,
it.
so there's that too.
Yeah,
I do think it's gonna sell better than the first one.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair. I mean, that's fair. There are quite a few people. We did talk about the fact there are quite a few people picking it up that didn't like the first one.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
exactly.
Okay. Any prediction on the milestone that you think they're gonna announce first?
2 million, I think,
Okay. Yeah.
or
Uh,
three. That's three because Omar said two.
three.
I said
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Um, yeah. As for me, I don't think they really do halves. So, I think I'm gonna go safely say about. I feel like 2 million is the easy one, but I feel like it's gonna be 2 million. I'm gonna have to say two myself because for some reason I feel
No,
like
no, no, no. You have to pick something else, and you can't.
well they only announce millions. I feel like I don't think they're gonna announce like 2.5 million sales.
Uh,
So I don't think it's
well,
gonna
then
be.
go for that. You're a fan. Go for four.
Oh man, if they're gonna go for four, if they hit four, then I think they're gonna go for five. So, like,
what you think it's gonna sell 5 mil?
I mean, I think it definitely will sell that in the long run. But
Okay,
yeah,
yeah, low, no, okay. I
the
thought,
reason I don't think it's a million is because I think it already made a million. I think it already made a million sales. So if they were gonna announce
mm,
that,
this is
I think
why
they
I
would have
said
done it.
2 million, cause I'm optimistic about this one. But it is a part two, so people gonna buy it. The ones that no, well, actually, people that were gonna buy it that didn't even start the first one. So it's gonna
Yeah,
be
that's what we were
interesting
saying.
sales wise.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know. They might be just holding off on the announcement, but in the interest of saying something different, I'll say a million.
Is it not
And
too
we'll see what
early? Too
happens.
enough?
I mean, yeah. I mean, it hasn't even been a week yet.
Yeah.
So yeah. So usually after a week they'll say something. So we'll see what happens. But yeah. Omar, let the people know where they can find you.
I already did that.
Oh, you
You're
did.
late.
Yep, that's
Yeah,
my fault. Uh,
not late, but
no, well, I
we're
forgot
gonna.
because I did the Death Stranding thing. But
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, precisely.
uh, you can find me on Twitter or Blue Sky at the Real Innate. Again, right now you can find me getting something to eat and playing Death Stranding too, because
As you
yeah,
should.
I'm about to dig in like never before, man. Energy drink it up. Probably get some pizza. I don't know. I'm really just wanting to immerse myself in this world 100% and just really go crazy and just really enjoy this game before the fall and all these other games come out, like the Digimon game on here,
Yeah,
which I'll be playing on PC because for whatever reason they decided it was going to be
30
30
FPS,
FPS on consoles, which makes no sense.
Maybe
But
for
yeah,
the Series S?
yeah, perhaps. But I mean, Series S shouldn't be pulling down the X and the PlayStation 5, so. Um, but yeah, in the meantime,
Hey,
I'll be playing
parity
it
clause,
there.
remember?
Yeah, such is the nonsense. But yeah,
Yep.
like I said, man, we're gonna get out of here. Remember, player games. It's all about the games at the end of the day. That's why we're here. That's why you guys show up, so we can all discuss this passion that we all share. So hopefully you guys all enjoy Death Stranding too. If you're not, enjoy whatever you're playing. Have a ball, and we're about to get out of here. Otter Nation.
Automation.
Otter donation.